continuing coverage of the as-yet undefeated Russian team is brought to you by Northeast Chrysler Plymouth Isuzu in Bangor and Northeast Dodge Toyota in Waterville. For quality new and used vehicles,
Düfur. Defenseman number 25, Rob Palmer. Left wing number 27, Pat Conaker. Left wing number 28, Alan Stewart. Defenseman number 29, Don Dietrich. Left wing number 34, Andy Brickley. Right wing number 77, Bud Stefanski. The trainers for the Maine Mariners, Peter Henderson and Ray Jones, and the coach and general manager of the Mariners, Tom McPhee. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an international tradition for hockey teams to exchange gifts prior to the start of the contest. We ask that both teams now please meet at the red line. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with a great deal of pleasure that I introduce our first very special guest of the evening. Here to drop the ceremonial first puck of the game from Manchester, Maine, will you please give a big Mariners welcome to Mrs. Jane Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, with us this evening, a young lady whose magnificent voice has been heard in many NHL cities throughout the States and opera stages throughout the world. To sing both the Soviet and American national anthems, we are honored to present Ms. Georgian Gietlein.
but it's on now. Let's all sing together our national anthem for them.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so only we held as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's red glare, the bumpers singing air, they through the night, but our flag was still there. Oh, see does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land, o'er the
There's a young woman that can get the crowd into it quickly. So, international hockey coming up here shortly. Period number 1 in just a moment. This is Maine Mariner hockey. Back here at the Cumberland County Civic Center, we get ready following the pregame ceremonies and just a complete touch of class with Mrs. Jane Smith to get things underway here. The Mariners' 4th time in the history of the franchise, and Sokol Kiev winding up this North American tour. They are 8-0 on the tour. The Mariners, of course, have had a pretty good week themselves. They are playing the 5th time this week, 4 nights in a row, and this is the 4th, so here we go. Set for period number 1 with the description, the voice of the Mariners, Dale Arnold.
Thanks, Frank. Bud Stefanski clears the puck into the offensive zone. Yuri Shundrov stops behind the net. Pokes it away to the near wing. Nikolai Ladigan comes up with it. Out to center ice, Stepanichev. Near wing boards, long drive off the glove of Friesen wide. Fyodor Malkov, side of the far circle. Loses to Brickley, who dumps back behind the net. Near corner, Rob Palmer for Maine. Up the near wing boards, takes the bump to the boards from Stepanichev. Puck loose, Palmer gets it to the blue line, but not out. Dumped wide of the net by Ladigan. Far wing, tipped to center ice by Bolduc. Brickley banged it off the boards, grabbed by Valeri Shiryayev. Shiryayev for Stepanichev. Cross ice pass near wing, Ladigan. Tried to dump it into the zone. Palmer blocked in front of the Mariners bench. Taken out of the play, Zemchenko. Stefanski back inside the Mariners blue line for Michel Bolduc. Bolduc comes to center ice, clears it wide of the Sokol Kiev cage. Far corner, Ladigan gains control as the Mariners change it up on the fly. Soviets, Stepanichev loses, stolen, walking in, Larry Floyd, score!
Well, there we see it very, very quickly. Larry Floyd on the steal, and I'll tell you, this guy has got a cannon, and he knows where that net is, and they call him sleepy. He wasn't sleepy that time. The Mariners grab a 1-0 lead. Here we have another look at it. There is a bullet right past the glove of goaltender Shundrov, and the Mariners lead this one 1-0.
It'll be an unassisted goal for Floyd. What a rocket he unloaded. Center ice, they go at it again. Kulikov gains the draw, right wing. Ooh, a big check thrown by Bruce Драйвер as he knocked Valeri Sidorov down behind the Mariners net. Near wing, Черномаз bumped to the board, stolen, thrown wide of the cage by Kulikov. Side of the far circle, number 17 is Ramil Yuldashev. Yuldashev can't come up with it. Conakher for the Mariners tips it out. Kulikov back to his own blue line. Gives it up on the near wing to Zemchenko. Long pass off the skates of Sidorov. Mariners' Pat Conakher grabs it. Leads Черномаз back in near wing. Черномаз stops side of the near circle. Drop pass. Himmer throws it in front. Conakher couldn't get the handle. He was alone in front. Yuldashev pokes it free to the far circle. Mariners hustle in. Tim Armi grabs it. Armi, rookie center out of Providence, Rhode Island, held to the far corner boards. They'll get the whistle in stoppage of play. 18-16 left to play first period. 1-0 Mariners with the lead.
Well, you can see right away why Larry Floyd is one of the leading scorers on the Mariners. In fact, both he and Steve Tushura share that honor with 45 points in the first 37 games the Mariners have played. And Larry Floyd picks one up unassisted here on the steal as he just drills a bullet past Shundrov at the 1-minute mark, and a 1-0 lead for the Mariners.
Face-off controlled now by the Soviet Union. Near wing Oleg Vasyunin to center ice. Vasyunin skates to the Mariners' blue line, comes in on the near wing, stops side of the circle, centering pass blocked wide by Gordy Mark. Puck rolls side of the cage, covered up by goaltender Friesen. Yevgeny Shastin bearing in. Gordy Mark took him to the backboards and held him there. 18:01 left to play in the first.
You're looking at a goaltender there, Carl Friesen, who is not getting his first look at some Russians by any means whatsoever. 5 years a performer on the West German national team, and he's played against, teams such as the Red Army, an outstanding team from the Soviet Union.
Vladimir Golubovich and Tim Armi set to take the draw to the right of Friesen. Sokol Kiev gains, near point shot into the slot, tipped away. Soviet has it into the slot. Shastin trying to come up with it. I'm looking at those red uniforms and seeing Sherbrooke. Into the slot comes Shastin, broken up. Maxwell tips to center ice. Luke Dюфур looking for Tim Armi. Shastin tipped it free. Maxwell grabs it. Kevin Maxwell, former member of the Canadian Olympic team. He's played against the Soviet Union as well. Mariners dump it in. Maxwell trapped way offsides. We get the whistle, stoppage of play. That's what happens when you've done too many American Hockey League games, I guess. You see red and blue uniforms and assume it has to be Sherbrooke.
And, of course, the Mariners played against that red and blue the past couple of evenings, beating Sherbrooke Friday night up in Sherbrooke 4-2 and getting a 3-3 overtime tie with the Canadians here at the Civic Center last night. Mariners, in fact, as we were saying, having a heck of a week themselves. They have played 4 times already this week, winning 3, tying 1, and moving to within 1 point of first place in the Northern Division.
Vladimir Yelovikov is out there. Canadians have done it again. Andrei Ovchinnikov also up front. I'm going to keep looking at those red uniforms until I get it right, I think, Frank.
Jim Tortorella is the linesman there to drop the puck. He's the coach of Brunswick High School. Now, Brad Wheaton moves in, the other linesman, to drop.
Ovchinnikov loses the draw. Palmer for the Mariners gets it. Crosses the red line, dumps behind the cage. Shundrov stops. Leaves the puck behind the net. Greg Evtushevsky pulls it loose, looking for Alan Stewart. Their check. Sokol Kiev gets it, dumps it up the right wing boards. Alexei Kuznetsov got the pass away on the near wing. Valery Shiryayev pokes it wide of the Mariners' net. Yelovikov taken to the back boards, into the slot, shot saved by Friesen off the stick of Yelovikov. Rocky Trotche out the center ice with Stewart and Evtushevsky. Trotche into the offensive zone. Alan Stewart centering pass, tipped into the air. Evtushevsky got the stick on it. I think Shundrov, the goaltender, knocked it loose. Kuznetsov back up the far wing. A Bolduc hip check takes him down. Yelovikov far corner, checked by Rob Palmer. Trotche for the Mariners pulls it loose. Rocky Trotche banks it off the near wing boards and out to center ice. Stopped there by Andrei Ovchinnikov. Goes all the way back into his defensive zone. He'll circle behind his own cage and set it up as the Soviets make the change on the fly. Near wing Nikolai Ladigan. We get the whistle, stoppage of play. Sokol Kiev has too many men on the ice.
That's it.
Mariners are going to get the first power play opportunity of the night.
Bench penalty coming up here. There you see referee Bob Hall talking to the penalty timekeeper, and the Mariners will go on a power play. Big break here. The bench minor, too many men on the ice.
So the Mariners will put a power play combination out on the ice.
For too many men on the ice. Time of the penalty, 3 minutes, 24 seconds. A bench minor
that has been clicking pretty well of late. Coming into this contest, Mariners on the power play successful 23.6% of the time. They'll have the face-off in the offensive zone, top of the circle to the left of Shundrov. I guess the image we have of Soviet hockey teams, you wouldn't expect them to get caught with something like that.
No, not making a mistake like that. But there you see the man in the penalty box, and watch the Mariners now go on the power play.
Pyotr Malkov loses the draw. Floyd keeps it in at the blue line, goes to Tejura, flips in front. Stefanski had it knocked off his stick beautifully by Shundrov. Sokol Kiev clears it length of the ice. Larry Floyd back behind the Mariners net sets it up. Floyd and Driver, the point men on the power play. Floyd chased out, leads Driver up the left wing. Bruce Driver, long cross-ice pass. Tejura tipped it wide of the Soviet net. Shundrov pokes it near corner. Tejura knocks it loose. Steve Tejura for the Mariners, trying to get it free to Andy Brickley. Fell down as he kicked it behind the cage. Menchenkov clears far point. Driver keeps it in for Maine. Back behind the net, Stefanski and Tejura combined. Puck rolls free. Brickley tried the pass to Floyd. It was blocked. Taken near wing by Stepanychev. Anatoly Stepanychev out to center ice. Can't get by Floyd and Driver's check. Fluid for Teixeira on the left wing, leads Stefanski back in. Brickley heads for the front of the net, then stops. Stefanski side of the far circle check. Puck in the skates. Stefanski tried to kick it back to the point for Драйвер. It went into the fallen body of Teixeira. Puck far corner. Stefanski digs it free finally. Weird hop off the corner boards as he tried to go to the point. Soviets break to center ice. Malkov up by the Mariners' blue line. Taking it into the main defensive zone, number 12, Valeri Sidorov. Sidorov carries deep to the corner. Behind the net, Stepanychev. Stepanychev, near circle. Stefanski broke up Pyotr Malkov. Stepanychev comes back outside the line. Puck tipped cross ice now by number 6, Oleg Vasyunin. Vasyunin checked by Драйвер at the main blue line. Mariners have just 35 seconds left of the power play. Soviet Union control. Stepanychev tips it inside the Mariners' blue line. Fluid takes it back and comes the other way to Черномаз. Черномаз into the zone with Conakер on the left wing. Tried to tip it off the boards. Conaker walks into the slot. Flipped it in front. Kevin Maxwell shoots it just wide of the far post. Pinching deep. Dietrich fails to keep it in. Maxwell goes to Черномаз at the line. Черномaz shot whistled wide. Conaker knocked down in front of the net. Sokol Kiev clears out to center ice. Черномаз tried to lead Conaker back in left wing. Conaker flips it in front, too far in front of Maxwell. He tips it behind the cage. Conaker checked back boards. Out of the penalty box comes Еловиков. Sokol Kiev back at full strength. Far circle, Maxwell for Maine. Gets it free to Conaker, deep behind the cage. Stolen. Tried to drive it out. Unable to. Vasyunin. Черномaz shot blocked in front. Puck rolls to the near wing. Sergei Davidov taken to the boards. Sokol Kiev clears up the near wing boards. Еловиков out of the penalty box into the Mariners' defensive zone. Centering pass blocked beautifully. Shot in front, stopped by Friesen. Puck loose side of the cage. Grabbed into the slot. Shot. Kulikov stopped by Friesen. Еловиков side of the far circle. Into the slot, missed the pass to Kulikov. Черномаз for the Mariners just bangs it out to center ice. Sokol Kiev gets it back. Sergei Gorbushin, captain of the team for the Soviet Union, gets the pass away to Nikolai Narimanov. Narimanov inside the Mariners' blue line, down the far wing with Golubovich. Comes to the near corner. Narimanov controlled side of the near circle. Comes into the slot on the forehand. Throws it far corner. Nobody there. He grabs it himself. Narimanov into the slot. Golubovich shot blocked wide behind the cage. Golubovich grabs it again. Comes near corner. Vladimir Golubovich controlled side of the near circle. Gets the pass free to Shastin. Breaking in from the point. Nice play by Conakер to wrap up the man. Puck driven to the far circle. Palmer for the Mariners trying to drive it out. Checked by Narimanov. Tips it outside the line finally. Greg Evtushevsky sends it into the offensive zone. Vladimir Golubovich. Cross-ice pass in his zone. Evtushevsky steals and shoots it wide. Golubovich side of the far circle. Drives it out to center ice as he got leveled by an Alan Stewart check. Michel Bolduc dumps it back in. Evtushevsky flies in. Nikolai Latigan plays it off the backboards. Golubovich flips it in front of his own netminder and out to center ice. Narimanov, great pass for Shastin drive. Kick save Friesen. Yevgeny Shastin behind the Mariners net, taken out of the play by Bolduc. Puck rolls free. Bolduc sweeps near circle. Pinching in from the blue line, trying to keep it in. Latigan misses. Trotche breaks out 2-on-1 with Stewart. Trotche into the offensive zone. Shot saved. Shundrov. Puck rolls free. Evtushevsky flips it in front. Alan Stewart, far circle, shot saved. Rebound cleared out by the goaltender. Soviets back out through center ice. Nikolai Narimanov to the Mariners' blue line, in with Shastin. Narimanov checked near circle by Bruce Драйвер. Play continues end to end. Rocky Trotche defensive zone, can't clear. Soviets steal. Shastin dumped by Evtushevsky. Trotche bangs it over the stick of the defenseman, number 5, Sergei Gorbushin. Sokol Kiev back to play while the Mariners change it up on the fly. Out to center ice, Zemchenko near wing boards. Valeri Еловиков broken up nicely by Uli Himmer. Himmer, a former member of the West German Olympic team, also with international experience. But we get the icing call now against Sokol Kiev. 11:55 left to play in the first. 1-0 Mariners with the lead. We'll be back with more in a moment.
All right, here we go. Russians with a face-off now in the Mariner end to the right of Friesen.
Ovchinnikov sends it side of the near circle. Еловиков looks into the slot, had it blocked, back to the blue line. Zemchenkov shot it wide of Friesen's cage. Defensive zone, Bolduc for Maine. Up the left wing boards through center ice. Luke Düfur drove it free. Tim Armi couldn't come up with it. Еловиков, what a move around Palmer. Inside the Mariners' blue line. Shoots it wide as he's checked by Düfur. Alexei Kuznetsov into the slot looking for Еловиков. He couldn't come up with a pass, and Palmer grabs it inside his own line. Out to center ice, Tim Armi for Kevin Maxwell. Tip to Bolduc. Michel Bolduc sends Armi into the zone. Would have been onside, but he couldn't control the pass. Shundrov falls down. Maxwell runs into him afterwards. Sokol Kiev trying to clear. Stepanichev loses. Armi for Maxwell. Maxwell into the slot, had it deflected. Stepanichev behind the net, sends it away to the far point. Bolduc shot blocked. Puck kicked free. Sokol Kiev breaks out 3-on-1. Stepanichev near wing. Yelovikov looks in front. Great pass, but behind Stepanichev. Bolduc drives it back the other way, length of the ice. We'll get the icing call against Sokol Kiev as it's touched up down there by Valery Shiryayev.
Well, we've gotten a pretty good idea of how these Russians can skate and control their puck in that offensive end. We've had some spells of it, but the Mariners have played exceptionally well here in this opening period. Alexander Kulyakov, though, had a real excellent opportunity and a great stop by Carl Friesen here in the early going of this one. We're almost midway through the opening period. The Mariners with a 1-0 lead. We have 10:54 remaining in period number 1. Face off to the left of Carl Friesen.
Fyodor Malkov centers for Sergei Zemchenko and Anatoly Stepanichev. Mariners gain defensive zone. Gordy Mark near circle. Mitch Wilson tipped it free. Tajura couldn't control. Stepanichev at center ice takes it back. Anatoly Stepanichev leads it in on the near wing. Sergei Zemchenko shouldered off the play by Wilson. Wilson behind the net, checked by Malkov. Puck rolls loose. Malkov into the slot. Missed connections. Archie Henderson bangs it out to the Soviet blue line. Nikolai Latigan back to play. I don't know if they know the name Henderson, but they can hear the footsteps. Soviets missed the pass intended for Zemchenko. We've got a player shaken up at the other end of the ice for Sokol Kiev. Number 14, Valery Shiryayev, is down inside the Sokol Kiev blue line. I frankly did not see what happened on the play, and I'm not sure how he got hit.
I don't either. I don't know whether he caught a high stick or what, but he's in pain, as you can see. Away from the play. The offside call will get a face-off just outside the Mariner end, but Shiryayev is still bent over, coming to the Sokol Kiev bench. But now he does look to be all right.
I guess the trainers in the Soviet Union only come out if there's blood.
Yeah.
He never moved.
He better get over there on his own because they're not coming after him, huh?
Steve Tajura on the draw with Alexander Kulikov. Dietrich defensive zone. Left wing Henderson checked. Henderson able to knock it free. Looking for Tajura, but it's blocked. Ramil Yuldashev leads it in on the near wing. Menchenkov spun around by Wilson. That could have been a penalty call, but wasn't. Out to center ice. Mariners try to break. Yuldashev stops the pass. Tajura falls down hard left wing. Mariners flip to the line. Kulikov keeps it in. Alexander Kulikov shot blocked nicely by Dietrich. Throws it in front. Friesen gloves it off the pad and holds on. 9:55 left to play here in the first. 1-0 Mariners with a lead.
Alexander Kulyakov, one of the veterans on this team, and he's had a couple of good scoring opportunities now, 31 years old. As we get a look at this one here, and Carl Friesen will just get the glove on it and get the stoppage in play, and we'll get a face-off. As we said, Kulikov, 31, he's 5'7", 162 pounds. This is a fairly older team. Only a couple of youngsters on this team, one 20 years old, another 21.
Sergei Davidov on the left wing is the leading scorer for this club thus far in their U.S. tour. Ramil Yuldashev tried to tip it in front. Bruce Driver blocked it neatly. Clears to Conakер on the left wing. He's checked by Sidorov. Held to the boards. Puck pinned there. They'll get another draw. 9:46 left to play here in the first. 1-0 Mariners with the lead. Soviets have outshot the Mariners 6-5 thus far.
Here's Larry Floyd, who has the Mariner goal, number 17, waiting for the face-off, and it'll again come in the Mariner end. Davidov, as you say, the leading scorer on their tour thus far, and he's got a bundle of them in 8 games played, 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points.
Sergei Gorbushin dumped it wide of the cage. Mariners Черномаз leads. Floyd to center ice, looking for Conakер. He didn't see the pass behind him. Conakер comes near corner. Checked hard by Gorbushin. Conakер trying to kick it free. Floyd is there as well. Conakер and Gorbushin kind of glare at each other, go nose to nose. Conaker skates off. Gorbushin rattled him with a pretty good check. Face-off will come to the left of goaltender Yuri Shindra. Larry Floyd will take the draw. Mariners gain. Uli Himmer, wrist shot blocked in front. Puck loose. Conaker grabs it, gets the shot that's blocked. Near corner, Черномаз has Floyd behind the net, gives it to him, snaps it into the slot. Bruce Driver spins and fires. Score!
There we go, Bruce Driver. Young man who has just returned to the Mariners from the New Jersey Devils. He played on Canada's Olympic team in the last Olympics. He gets the second one, and the Mariners now have grabbed a 2-0 lead with 9:18. Here's a look at it again. There's Driver with a big shot from the top of the slot.
It is not tipped in front. I wasn't sure. Черnomaz and Floyd assist on Driver's goal, but it was Floyd who made that quick pass from behind the net that really set it up.
That set it up.
A rocket shot by Bruce Driver. Mariners in front 2-0. Tajura on the draw with Ovchinnikov. Gained by the Soviet Union. Nikolai Ladigan back into his defensive zone. On the right wing boards, Alexei Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov breaks to the Mariners' blue line, comes in, steps around Bolduc, side of the far circle, trying to flip it in front. Palmer blocked. Puck rolls free. Bolduc grabs it now for Maine. Tries to clear it outside the line. Ovchinnikov blocked. Sokol Kiev keeps it in. Thrown wide of the cage by Kuznetsov. Bolduc behind the net now, checked by Yelovikov. Puck rolls free near corner. Tajura snaps it behind the net to the left wing. Andy Brickley takes a pretty good check there, but fights loose. Throws cross ice to Palmer. Rob Palmer for Steve Tajura. Tips it away into the offensive zone. Stefanski will go back and avert the icing call. Well, we get it anyway. That's right. International rules. Doesn't have to be touched. 8:35 left to play in the first. 2-0. Mariners with the lead. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
2-0 lead for the Mariners. Face-off just inside the Mariner blue line.
Fyodor Malkov and Steve Tajura on the draw. Mariners gain. Michel Bolduc tips it out to center ice. Valery Sidorov tried to tip it free for Anatoly Stepanищев, but Stefanski steals for Maine, flips it in as he takes the check from Sidorov. Far corner Malkov gave it up to Stefanski, kicked to Brickley behind the net. Checked by Malkov. Brickley works it free. Stefanski tried to come into the slot. Zemchenko pulls it loose. Right wing board, Stepanищев. Out through center ice to the Mariners' blue line. Anatoly Stepanищев fires it over Friesen's shoulder. Andy Brickley tips it back out. Valery Sidorov chases it down back to the Sokol Kiev blue line for Alexander Zemchenko. Zemchenko away from Tajura. Comes to center ice. Zemchenko to the Mariners' blue line. Steps in on the near wing. Steps free from a Maxwell check. Palmer near corner. Bump to the boards. Puck pulled loose. Zemchenko behind the net. Checked by Tajura. Stepanищев tried to throw it in front to Malkov. He fell down against the backboards. Zemchenko loses. Tajura lost in turn to Malkov. Bolduc tips it free to the near point. Zemchenko couldn't keep it in. Puck to the Sokol Kiev blue line. Sidorov back to play. Flips it away from Maxwell to Stepanищев. Stepanищев back behind the net for Sidorov. Near wing Zemchenko. Maxwell tries to steal and does in front. Flips it in front but couldn't connect with Tim Armi. Armi looks into the slot for Dюфур but couldn't get the pass away. Sokol Kiev to center ice. Near wing Zemchenko has a man breaking in front. Kulikov shoots it wide. What a break as he made it in from the blue line. Mariners back the other way. Maxwell up and into the offensive zone. Shot. Score!
Evan Maxwell beats the goaltender as he did a little fake and got him leaning left and then beats him right. Evan Maxwell gives the Mariners a 3-0 lead. They dodge a bullet on one end and pick up the score on the other end. Number 21, Kevin Maxwell. There's the shot as he beats the goaltender to the stick side, and the Mariners have a 3-0 lead.
You watch here, Frank, it actually goes off Shundrov's stick and then up into the top corner of the cage. Maxwell hit the stick of Shundrov, but it went behind him. Dюфур gets the lone assist on the goal. Mariners in front 3-0 here in the first period. Kulikov and Armi on the draw at center ice. Maxwell was a little excited, wasn't he, when he scored the goal? He comes back in on the left wing, checked to the far wing boards and taken out of the play. Puck behind the Sokol Kiev net. Near corner, Vasiunin breaking to center ice to the Mariners' blue line. Sergei Davidov drop pass beautifully. Kulikov in front shot. What a save by Friesen. Puck free, Kulikov. That's Davidov, I should say, side of the near circle. Fakes the drive into the slot. Tipped to the blue line. Kept in shot. Tipped over the cage. Over the glass and into the seats. Oh, what a stop Carl Friesen made a moment ago.
I'll tell you, once again, it was Alexander Kulikov. Number 29, he is something else. He's getting all kinds of scoring opportunities. He's got to start to wonder if he can ever get one past Carl Friesen. Again, we'll watch Kulikov as he gets an outstanding opportunity. We won't get a look at that one, I guess, again. 3-0, though. The Mariners have grabbed the lead here with 6:37 remaining to play in this first period.
He just had 4 guys dive over 3 rows of seats to pick up a 98-cent puck. But I guess it's worth it when it comes from this game. Sokol Kiev with the puck. Ladigan, left wing missed Yevgeny Shastin. Uli Himmer back behind the Mariners net to get it. Himmer, left side, Alan Stewart. Played it out of the skates. Turns away from Nikolai Narimanov. Stewart, nifty move up the left side. Comes to center ice. Evtushevsky tries to break in near wing. Evtushevsky gets the shot. Shundrov save. Evtushevsky set up beautifully. Puck to the line. Bruce Driver flips it in front. Evtushevsky robbed by Shundrov. He'll hold on and stop play. 6:07 left to play in the first. 3-0 Mariners with the lead. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Well, as we come back, the Mariners, after putting some heat on in front of Shundrov once again, will have a face-off in the offensive end. And we got some people creeping in a little early here. Craig Evtushevsky from the Mariners. Now the face-off to the left of the goaltender.
Ovchynnikov takes the draw away from Trottier, takes the return pass near corner from Zemchenko, gets it free to Yelovikov, checked by Evtushevsky. Trottier slips it free to the far corner. Grabbed there by Ovchynnikov, rattled by a Trottier check. Evtushevsky looked in front, couldn't connect with Stewart before it was blocked. Sokol Kiev pulls it free and out to center ice, Alexei Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov ahead to Yelovikov, gets by Uli Himmer, shot, score!
Uli Himmer makes the mistake at his own blue line, and they're around him. Yelovikov just steps around him, and he's on the way in all alone, and he beats the goaltender, so the Russians get one back as Yelovikov is here, sent in all alone. Look at him. Beat the glove of goaltender Carl Friesen this time, and the Russians get their first one. It is 3-1.
He picked the corner, didn't he?
He sure did.
Puck back inside the Mariners' blue line. Stepanichev looks in front, can't get control. Shot, save, Friesen. What a blast by Nikolai Ladigan. Mariners clear it back the other way. Back inside the Soviet blue line, Valery Shiryayev. Wilson tipped it back in on the offsides call. 5:25 left to play here in the first period. 3-1 Mariners with a lead.
Yelovikov gets the goal. The assist will go to Sidorov. And let's see who else was in there. Number 15 also is in there.
Kuznetsov.
Kuznetsov picks up the assist. 14-19, so it's 3-1.
Mariners send it back into the offensive zone. Puck tipped behind the cage. Chased near corner by Vasyunin. Got it free to the line. Palmer couldn't keep it in. He's checked in front of the Soviet bench. Rob Palmer for the Mariners gives to Mitch Wilson. Wilson comes back into the offensive zone. Puck chased near corner. Grabbed by Vasyunin. Anderson lined him up, but he avoided the check. Stepanichev comes to center ice. Long lead pass missed. Puck rolls behind the Maine net. Palmer will touch it. Will get the icing call. 4:57 left to play first period. 3-1 Mariners with the lead. We'll be back with more action in just a moment. Face off to the right of Yuri Shundrov. Larry Floyd to get things rolling for the Mariners will take the draw with Alexander Kulikov. Mariners gain. Far point Don Dietrich shot blocked wide. Pat Conakry behind the Sokol Kiev cage comes near corner. Conakry for Maine looked in front. Gordy Mark was bearing in from the blue line. He couldn't get the pass to him. Ladigan, far wing. Out to center ice they break. Gorbushin got it to the Mariners line. Floyd drives it back in on the near wing. We'll get the icing call against the Mariners as it's touched up by Sergei Gorbushin, captain of the Sokol Kiev team. 4:35 left to play in the first. 3-1, Mariners with the lead.
So the draw will come now for the Russians in their offensive end. In the Mariner end, the circle to the right of goaltender Carl Friesen. And they've gotten one, Yelovikov, the youngest player on this Sokol Kiev team. He's 20 years old, 5'11" and 174. As we get a look at a dapper Tom McPhee. Behind the Mariner bench, he'll be our guest in the first intermission.
Special night when the coach and trainers on the bench have the tuxes on, isn't it?
Sure is.
Kulikov and Floyd on the face-off. Somebody into the circle early. I think Rich Черномаз. They'll back them up and set them again. Kulikov centers for Ramil Yuldashev and number 21, Sergei Davidov. Kulikov and Floyd gained by the Soviet Union. Puck tipped wide of the net by Yuldashev on the point drive. Conakry trying to clear. Yuldashev keeps it in. Sergei Davidov into the slot. Kulikov broken up nicely by Gordy Mark. Черномаз tips it out to center ice for the Mariners. Ladigan back inside the Sokol Kiev blue line. Gets it free to Sergei Gorbushin, captain of Sokol Kiev. Up the near wing breaking. Davidov inside the Mariners blue line. Centering pass. In alone. Shot save. Friesen as he robs Ramil Yuldashev.
Well, a great pass. Send in Yuldashev. We'll get another look at it as they make such great passes. Look at this one off the backhand. There comes Yuldashev. He's in alone. And the goaltender gets down as he just could not get enough of it, and Carl Friesen does. So the Mariners hold him off again, and the face-off will come on the circle to the left of Friesen.
Out there to take the draw, Vladimir Golubovich. Tejura and Golubovich on the draw. Sokol Kiev shot from the blue line on the stick of Zemchenko, stopped by Friesen. Zemchenko really sort of misfired on that one. Friesen just grabbed it and held on.
Just didn't get much of it, kind of knuckleballed it up there, a little pop-up that Friesen got the glove on.
Golubovich sets Narimanov top of the circle. Pinching in from the near point is Zemchenko. And he gets the drive that's blocked by Brickley. Far point kept in. Shot, stick save, Friesen through the screen. Side of the near circle, Golubovich to the blue line. Menchenkov backhand. Friesen calmly stops it with the stick and covers it up with a glove. 3:57 left to play in the first. 3-1 Mariners. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Face off to the right of Carl Friesen. Bud Stefanski gains for Maine. Uli Himmer behind the Mariners net. Up the left wing boards, Brickley smartly just let it roll to the Soviet net. Shundrov clears it away to center ice. Andy Brickley grabs it, but he's got Tejura trapped way offsides. Has to wait for a moment. Calmly holds with players skating all around him. Brickley for Tejura. He tips it back into the offensive zone far corner. Shundrov likes to roam. He goes out and covers it up far corner. We're playing international rules now. We're not playing North American professional rules, and I don't think that's a penalty in international hockey.
Obviously it isn't, because there he was out at the far wing boards getting the puck covered and getting a face-off. Of course, he would not be allowed to do that in professional rules. He wanders out that far, brother. He's in a lot of trouble.
Tejura and Golubovich on the draw. Tejura sends it wide of the net off the face-off. Valeri Sidorov banks it off the near wing boards, length of the ice. They said Himmer could have played and wave off the icing call. Behind the Mariners net, Himmer dumped by Shastin. Bruce Driver backhand flip near wing as Himmer went back after Shastin. Narimanov broken up. Bruce Driver breaks to center ice. We've got penalties back behind the play. Uli Himmer threw a cross-check on Shastin that snapped his stick in two. Himmer's going to get the gate. Sokol Kiev will get the power play try.
Himmer was taken into the boards by Shastin, and in retaliation, off he goes, and that'll put Sokol Kiev on the power play.
You can imagine the way this team moves the puck around. What a power play opportunity will be like for these guys. Himmer takes a seat in the box. He got dumped by Shastin pretty good to the back boards, and as play went up the other end of the ice, he retaliated and picked up the call. Referee Bob Hall, though, unfortunately for him, was trailing them.
He was.
He was right behind everything.
And there you see a few pieces of what's left of Uli Himmer's stick.
Mariners penalty killers coming into tonight's contest through 38 American Hockey League games, successful 81.7% of the time, and the Mariners, you hate to say this, you know what's going to happen, have killed off 23 consecutive power play tries against coming into tonight's game. Face-off far circle outside the Mariners blue line. Conakер and Dюfур, the penalty killers. Malkov on the draw with Conakер. Conakер gains the back draw to Palmer. He just slips it out length of the ice. Shundrov kicked it into the slot. Hustling in. Conakер nearly grabbed it with an empty net bid. Back the other way come the Soviets. Right wing Stepanichev. Moves to the Mariners blue line. Doesn't come in with it. Not until everybody's ready. Stepanichev. Near wing looking. Conakер tipped it back to the Sokol Kiev blue line. Near wing, they grab it. Oleg Vasyunin back behind the net as he's rattled by Conakер. Got the pass free to Shiryayev. Back up the near wing, Vasyunin. Skates in front of the Mariners bench. Stops inside the Maine blue line. Flipped it wide of the cage. Friesen flipped it near corner. Rob Palmer for Maine, checked by Malkov. A pair of Soviet players around him. Behind the net, Zemchenko picks Palmer off on the net neatly. Gets it side of the far circle to Stepanichev. Back behind the cage, cutting in front. Stop. Puck loose as Friesen made the stop. Zemchenko's the man who was stopped that time. Back to the blue line for Vasyunin. Zemchenko, side of the near circle, looks in front. Flipped it in front. Great pass alone in front. Stepanichev missed Zemchenko. Side of the near circle, Stepanichev looks in front once again. Stepanichev into the slot. Missed connections with his man, Malkov. Far point, Shiryayev keeps it in. Side of the far circle, Malkov. Near wing, Vasyunin back into the slot, Malkov. Side of the near circle, driven wide of the cage by Zemchenko. Behind the Mariners net, Stepanichev checked. Malkov for Zemchenko. Top of the near circle and then back to the blue line. Vasyunin for Zemchenko. Zemchenko cross ice far point. Shiryayev shot driven wide on the near point now by Vasyunin. Far corner Stepanichev for Sokol Kiev. Gets the drive. Friesen save. Rebound stopped by Friesen. Holds on with players converging around him. 1:41 left to play in the first. 3-1 Mariners with the lead. We'll take a break and be back with more in just a moment. This is Maine Mariners hockey. Face off to the left of Carl Friesen. 25 seconds left in the penalty time to Uli Himmer. Sokol Kiev controlled beautifully, but didn't get too many good bids away. Far corner, Gordy Mark drives it behind the net to the near point. Stefanski tips it past Gorbushin at the line. Puck rolls wide of the Sokol Kiev cage. Nikolai Ladigan back to play. Ladigan, side of the far circle. Out to center ice, breaking Kulikov. Inside the Mariners blue line on the near wing. Slaps it into the slot. Tejura blocks and slips it out to center ice. Stefanski races, but Ladigan will get there first. Nikolai Latigan throws it through the skates of Ramil Yuldashev. Himmer out of the penalty box. Mariners at full strength. Davidov tries to come into the slot. Broken up. Dietrich knocked it free far circle. Kulikov to the line. Latigan drive. Friesen stick save. Far corner, Ramil Yuldashev for Sokol Kiev. Back to the blue line. Nikolai Latigan drive. Glove save. Friesen, and he holds on. Carl Friesen has had himself a first period and a half. Exactly 1 minute left to play here in the first. 3-1, Mariners with the advantage. You get a look as Latigan sends the shot through the screen. Yuldashev missed the tip. Friesen grabbed it with the glove and held on. Maxwell gives him a tap on the pads. Himmer's back over as well, probably apologizing for the 2 minutes that Friesen had to face with Himmer in the penalty box. Carl Friesen has gone 9 straight games without a loss, 7-0-2 in that stretch, and he's looked very sharp here in the first period against Sokol Kiev. Golubovich and Floyd will take the face-off, circle to the left of Friesen. Again, Sokol Kiev brings 2 players in. Menchenkov shot, stick save Friesen. Kevin Maxwell comes to center ice, tips it ahead to Alan Stewart. Stewart's got Floyd breaking into the slot, couldn't get the pass to him. Menchenkov checked by Stewart behind the cage. Puck pulled free by Valeri Sidorov. Sidorov comes up the near wing and out to center ice. Sidorov to the Mariners' blue line, comes in, tries to cut through, can't do it. Shastin gets it free, Narimanov shoots it wide. Penalty call coming up to the Mariners as Stewart touches up. We get the whistle, and the stoppage of play. Bob Hall catching one of the Mariners in a hold. Looks like Larry Floyd is the guilty party. Nobody moves as yet, though. Still nobody over to the box. We'll wait and see who Bob Hall comes up with. Hall is talking with goaltender Carl Friesen. Trainer Ray Jones comes out as well, as Friesen appears to be shaken up right now. Jones pretty spiffy in his tuxedo tonight, too. The only part that detracts from the appearance, he had to wear the white athletic shoes because the nice patent leather slip on the ice surface. Looks as though Friesen may have incurred a cut, perhaps.
Penalty on number 3, Uli Himmer.
Uli Himmer is the man who gets caught for the holding penalty. Second consecutive penalty against Himmer as Jones comes off the ice, and Friesen evidently all right. Second power play opportunity of the night for Sokol Kiev. Mariners have had 1 power play opportunity. Face off just inside the Mariners' blue line. Steve Tajura and Bud Stefanski, the penalty killers up front for Maine. Malkov and Tajura will take the draw with those 35 seconds left to play in the period. Stefanski stepped in on the face-off. Zemchenko top of the near circle. Weak shot, partially deflected by Palmer. No, Zemchenko snapped his stick in two. That's what happened. Friesen covers it up and holds on. Zemchenko comes to the bench for a new piece of lumber. They had him set up almost like a split end over here along the blue line. Kind of a nifty play. They just banged it over. He came in on the near circle and got the drive away. Really misfired and snapped the stick, and Friesen was able to stop it and hold on. Draw to the left of Friesen this time. 29 seconds left to play in the period. Malkov and Tajura on the draw. Mariners gain. Palmer behind the main net. Knocks it loose to the near wing. Vasyunin checked by Stefanski. Puck rolls free near circle. Now Palmer steals, clears to the line. Malkov, nice play, keeps it in. Stepanychev, bullet drive. Friesen saved. Far point kept in and dumped over the shoulder of defenseman Michel Bolduc. Palmer got it free to the near wing. It rolls in front of the net. Palmer dives. Tajura sends it length of the ice. That's going to just about do it for the first period of play. Time ticking down. 1 second left. That's the horn. You'll hear the hand that these fans will give these two teams.
Shots on goal in the first period. Sokol Kiev, 20. The Mariners, 9.
Sokol Kiev, 20 shots on goal in the first period. The Maine Mariners had 9. A terrific job in goal by Carl Friesen. 19 first period saves. 3 of the first Mariners' 9 shots went by goaltender Yuri Shindrov. And the Mariners escaped the first period with a 3-0 advantage, thanks in large part to the goaltending of the man from West Germany by way of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Carl Friesen is the man who was doing the terrific job in nets. You see Sokol Kiev exiting the ice. That's also known as the Zamboni Tunnel here at the Civic Center. The officials leave the ice as well. Score at the end of the first period. The Maine Mariners leading Sokol Kiev from the Soviet Union 3-1. Our intermission activities continue in a moment. Tom McVie will join Frank Fixeris next. We'll be back with more after this.
All
All right, second period coming up here very shortly. The Mariners, as we say, with a 3-1 lead. We're going to look at the one that made it 3-0. Number 21 for the Mariners will be Kevin Maxwell. And again, watch Maxwell. I think he did get the goaltender leaning a little bit as he carries in, puts a fake on, and then takes the shot. It will kick off the stick of Shundrov and up into the net. And Kevin Maxwell at that time gave the Mariners a 3-0 lead. The Russians did pick one up, and we'll get a chance in a moment to take a look at that. Yelovikov, there he goes, right around defenseman Uli Himmer. You can't let him alone like that. And he beats the glove of Carl Friesen. The only time they put one past Friesen in that first period, but Himmer standing up and trying to put the hook in and not moving with the man or taking the body, and he's just stepped around him. And I'll tell you, these Russians can fly. A big change, I think, in the style of play down through the years is the fact that they just actually, Dale, do take so many shots now. They used to wait for, it seemed like an eternity to take shots, but not any longer.
That's true, Frank, but then you watch them control the puck in the offensive zone, and they're just banging it around from pillar to post, and pinpoint passes going boom, 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 and you can get dizzy out there watching them go all the way around. And Uli Himmer is going to have 1 minute and 25 seconds left of penalty time as we open up the second, so that power play for the Soviet Union will go back to work. Sergei Gorbushyn. Defensive zone for Sokol Kiev. Up the left wing boards. Out to center ice, Zemchenko. Zemchenko inside the Mariners' blue line. Stepanichev heads for the net. Pass deflected, but gained by Ladigan and driven wide of the cage. Far corner, Zemchenko. Mariners poke it free. Tejura clears to center ice with a nice play. Ladigan back inside the Sokol Kiev blue line. Pass near wing, Fyodor Malkov. Back behind the net for Ladigan. Ran into the cage, and then Stefanski ran into him. Malkov hauled Stefanski down. Sokol Kiev to center ice. Zemchenko up the near wing. Steps inside the Mariners' blue line. Down the near wing boards to the corner. Stops. Bolduc takes him to the boards. Tejura tries to drive it out. Zemchenko blocked with a stick, kept it in. Pass to the near point. Nikolai Ladigan. Top of the near circle. Sergei Zemchenko looks in front, gives to Malkov's side of the circle. In from the far point, Gorbushyn, shot blocked in front. Palmer clears to the point. Gorbushyn, great play to keep it in. Comes to the near point for Ladigan. Ladigan fakes the drive, side of the net. Stepanishев near corner gets control. Anatoly Stepanishев, side of the cage, Fyodor Malkov. Bolduc tipped it free. Steve Tejura clears it length of the ice for the Mariners. Mariners able to make the change. Floyd and Conakер move up front with Mark and Dietrich back on defense. Penalty time ticking down within 5 seconds. Sokol Kiev on the near wing. Sergei Davidov behind his own net. Mariners back at full strength. Himmer out of the penalty box. Черномаз takes his place up front. Davidov out to center ice for Sokol Kiev. Chased by Черномаз back inside his own line. Oleg Vasiunin drops to Davidov behind the cage. Checked by Conaker. Черномаз comes in, tries to help out. Puck near corner. A pile of players gather in the skates and then pulled free by Kulikov. Черномaz shot in front. Stopped by Shundrov, and he holds on as the Mariners broke out of that corner. Черномаз unloaded that one very quickly.
He did. Черномаз and Conaker working hard, and there he comes. He got it away quickly, and Shundrov makes the stop and then pounces on it to make sure there's no more Mariners around looking for a rebound. So the Mariners dodge a bullet on the power play to start the second period now, and they'll get a face-off in the offensive end, circle to the right of goaltender Yuri Shundrov.
Larry Floyd will take the draw against Alexander Kulikov. Brad Wheaton drops. Sokol Kiev gains. Yuldashev tips behind the net. Quick hit pass through the middle to Kulikov. Kulikov to the Mariners' blue line. Poked free by Gordy Mark outside the line. Sokol Kiev regains back inside the Soviet blue line. Vasiunin for Kulikov. Skates behind the net, sets it up. Floyd tips it free near wing. Vasiunin really leveled by a Pat Conaker check. Puck near corner. Rolls behind the cage. Черномаз throws the heavy hit into Shiryayev. Puck far corner. Черномaz really rattling people. Puck in the corner. Davidov for Kulikov. Backhand flip near wing Yuldashev. Ramil Yuldashev steps around to Larry Floyd hit. Gets to Kulikov at the Mariners blue line. Kulikov in on the near wing. Centering pass. Tipped. Friesen save. Yuldashev put it right on and Friesen stopped it. Puck near corner. Davidov grabs it. Davidov into the slot. Holds on the backhand. Tried the pass, but it's blocked. Pat Conaker missed Черномаз. It rolls wide of the Sokol Kiev cage. Back to touch it up is Vasiunin. We're going to get a whistle and an icing called against the Mariners. Big stop by Carl Friesen, Frank.
Yep, Friesen, I'll tell you, it has been something. There's the tip, and there is Friesen as he slides and puts the pads on it and makes another save here to keep the Russians away. Outstanding pass to send in the Soviet. 3-1, though. The Mariners maintain the lead as Carl Friesen continues to play well in goal for the Mariners. And we might have a problem with a section of glass down along the near wing corner. Linesman Jim Tortorella banging the glass a little bit, and I guess it's all set. Fell back into place, and we get the whistle, and we're set to go, and the fans react appropriately. Face-off will come in the Mariner end to the left of Friesen.
Dufur was back talking to referee Bob Hall. They were set to drop the puck, had to blow the whistle and get things stopped. Golubovich and Tim Armi on the face-off, circle to Friesen's left. Zemchenko is in from the far point. He's set up top of the circle. Shastin banging around with Himmer and Dufur trying to get position. Armi gains the draw from Golubovich. Tipped free by Gordy Mark. Dufur knocks it out to center ice. Zemchenko back inside the Sokol Kiev blue line. Pass left wing, missed Shastin. Uli Himmer in turn missed Tim Armi. Puck inside the Soviet blue line. Near corner, Valery Sidorov. Side of the near circle, Nikolai Narimanov. Long lead pass looking to center ice for Shastin. Himmer back inside the Mariners blue line. Bruce Драйвер gets it left wing Dufur. Clears it into the offensive zone on net. Shundrov flips it free far corner. Zemchenko behind the cage, loses in front. Драйвер drives it wide. Behind the net, Maxwell centering pass. Armi shot. Dufur.
Well, Shundrov was down. Tim Armi made the initial shot. The rebound comes to Luke Dufur, and the former Bruin puts it up over the fallen goaltender, and the Mariners now lead it 4-1 as they get the first one here in the second period.
Luke Dufur is going to get the goal.
There, watch it come now. The centering pass out front. Armi the shot now. Dufur the rebound up over the goaltender, and there it is. Number 4 for the Mariners. Here's another look.
Tim Armi and number 21, Kevin Maxwell.
The shot initially wide by Драйвер off the boards. Now the centering pass in front. Armi the shot, the stop. Down he goes, and up goes Dufur. It's 4-1 Mariners.
You know, to be honest with you, Yuri Shundrov has spent a lot of tonight looking like he's out of position. He roams a lot. He doesn't look like he's quite ready at times. Mariners beat him for the 4th time tonight. 4-1, Mariners with the lead. Soviets gain the draw. Sergei Gorbushin broken up by Trache, looking for Evtushevsky, slipping in to grab it now off Chinnikov, back to the Mariners blue line, broken up by Bolduc. Rob Palmer bangs it free near point. Nikolai Ladigan keeps it inside of the near circle. Ladigan slips it through the slot, frees and let it roll to the far corner. Gorbushin breaks in behind the cage, gets it free. Narimanov sends it back to the line off Chinnikov, couldn't keep it in. Center ice, Alan Stewart trying to steal, but it slipped away from him by Ladigan. Stewart comes back in for the Mariners, clears far corner. Shundrov slowed it up but didn't stop it. Yelovikov taken out of the play by Trache. Off Chinnikov in front of the Soviet goaltender. Comes to the near wing, stops, turns away from Trache off Chinnikov, winds through center ice with it. Steps inside the Mariners blue line, finally and dumped by a Rob Palmer check. Alan Stewart grabs control near circle, gives to Bolduc, tries to tip it out, but Ladigan kept it in. Second effort, Stewart got it away to the Sokol Kiev blue line. Sergei Gorbushin for Vladimir Yelovikov. Yelovikov on the near wing circles in front of the Mariners bench, fights free from an Evtushevsky stick check. Gorbushin gets the drive, Friesen gloves it, drops it, side of the cage, gives to Stewart. Alan Stewart behind the net, turns away from Stepanichev. Alan Stewart, right wing, Rob Palmer. Tip to center ice past Zemchenko. Soviet steal, Gorbushin in front of the Mariners bench, got it away to Stepanichev. He in turn checked by Stewart. Trache takes the bump, but gets to Greg Evtushevsky. Tries to clear it into the zone. Pyotr Malkov blocks. Great pass near wing. Stepanichev breaks in, shot it wide. Over the shoulder of Friesen, Palmer side of the far circle had it tipped loose. Big Archie Henderson bangs it away to the Sokol Kiev blue line. Oleg Vasyunin back to retrieve. Vasyunin for Sokol Kiev turns away from Archie Henderson. Bothered by Larry Floyd, gives to Sergei Zemchenko. Zemchenko had Bolduc tip it off his stick. Bolduc drives to the line but not out. Second effort, Henderson just missed, leading Floyd to center ice. Vasyunin of the Soviet blue line. Near wing gets it free. Return pass on the far side of Vasyunin. Up the left wing, Zemchenko missed the tip pass intended for Malkov. Second effort out to center ice, breaks Valery Sheryayev. Inside the Mariners blue line, Stepanichev checked by Bolduc. Archie Henderson had it stolen. Zemchenko shot stopped by Friesen. Bolduc for the Mariners out to center ice, gets to Larry Floyd. Floyd long lead pass left wing. Henderson comes blasting in, but Wilson called in the offsides. 14-13 left to play in the second. 4-1 Mariners with the lead. We'll be back with more in a moment.
All right, here we get a look at it, and it looks like the breakaway here, and there's Carl Friesen again.
He makes the stop. Mariners at the other end, drive it into the offensive zone. Stefanski, far corner, checked by Zemchenko. Puck loose side of the far circle. Tejura for the Mariners, tips it deep to Stefanski. But Stefanski for the Mariners, bumped by Kulikov. Puck free, Tejura for Brickley. Shot blocked away to the far corner. Tejura drives it behind the net to the near corner. Stefanski chases it down. He's bumped to the boards by Zemchenko. Puck pulled free by Kulikov, out to center ice. Little hook by Tejura. Dietrich inside the Mariners' blue line grabs it. Lobs it out high and long and up into the timekeeper's bench down there between the two benches. 13:41 left to play in the second. 4-1, Mariners with the lead.
So that one will cost the Mariners. They'll bring it back for the draw now in the circle to the left of goaltender Carl Friesen. But Friesen continues to play outstanding hockey as we get a look at him here. Luke Dufur, though, picks up the goal at 3:34 of the period from Tim Armi and Kevin Maxwell, and the Mariners have a 3-goal advantage again. It's 4-1.
Tejura, Brickley, Stefanski up front for the Mariners. Golubovich on the draw for the Soviet Union loses. Mariners' Gordy Mark goes behind his own net. Mark bangs it off the right wing board. Stefanski checked there by Gorbuchin. Puck rolls wide of Shundrov's net. He drives it away to the left wing. Dietrich pinches in, trying to keep it in, but missed it. Tejura has to go all the way back to center ice to get control. Gives to Gordy Mark. Mark just missed sending Stefanski back in, and that one went through Shundrov's legs and almost into the net from the red line. Soviet Union's Nikolai Narimanov out to center ice, gets it free. Yevgeny Shastin to the Mariners' blue line. Broken up by Gordy Mark and Don Dietrich. Mark behind the net takes the bump. Narimanov had it tipped free by Dietrich. Tejura just tips it outside the line. Gorbushin for Shastin. Shastin checked down to the ice hard by Gordy Mark. Gets up slowly. I think his head may have hit the ice when he went down. Steve Tejura tips it into the offensive zone. Mariners change it up on the fly. Conakher, Fluid, Черномаз over the boards. Floyd trying to steal offensive zone, trying to come in on the backhand, couldn't control. Tips behind the net for Conakher, he missed it. Conakher comes side of the near circle for the Mariners, bumped hard to the boards. Черномаз comes in to help out. A pair of players for each team is there. They'll pin it and get the face-off. 12:36 left to play here in the second period. 4-1, Mariners with the lead.
Well, all right, the Soviets now trailing by 3 again as we take a look at Sokol Kiev. As we said, they're 8-0 on this tour, and this is the final night of the North American tour for them as we get a look at some of this big crowd here at the Civic Center enjoying this one tonight.
Face-off gain by the Mariners. I thought they were going to drop it again. I think the Mariners did too. Everybody stood around for a moment. Puck tipped to center ice now by Yelovikov. Driver races back inside his own blue line. Turns away on the far wing. Out to center ice. Quick hit pass. Черномаз had it roll off his stick. Shiryayev sends it back in on the near wing. Kuznetsov broken up. Yelovikov back to his own blue line for Vasyunin. Left wing, Kuznetsov checked hard by Uli Himmer. Floyd defensive zone for the Mariners. Left circle, Bruce Striver had it tipped free. Yelovikov keeps it in. Top of the far circle. Weak shot blocked over the shoulder of the goaltender by Floyd. Side of the near circle. Kuznetsov sends it through the slot. Himmer tipped it free to the far circle. Gets it himself and bangs it out length of the ice. Back to get it is Shiryayev, and we're going to get the icing call against the Mariners as it's touched up. 11:51 left to play in the second. 4-1, Mariners with the advantage, and we'll have more in just a moment.
Well, Dale, the fans are getting into it. We got a wave started here at the Civic Center.
Face off to the right of Friesen. Sokol Kiev has got to be wondering what the heck is going on down there. Michel Bolduc defensive zone. Pass missed by Armi, but Maxwell leads Dufur left wing. Dufur tried to send it in front for Bolduc. Blocked beautifully by Sidorov. Puck near corner. Dufur trying to kick it free. Pyotr Malkov behind the Soviet net. Bangs it out to center ice. Missed by Zemchenko. Bolduc sends it off the stick of Stepanichev. Tim Armi broken up as he's dumped by Sidorov. Inside the Soviet blue line. Zemchenko. Near wing. Pyotr Malkov. Malkov breaks through center ice, moves to the Mariners' blue line, gives to Zemchenko in on the near wing, shot through the slot, tip missed by Malkov. Kevin Maxwell drives it ahead. Dufur leaves it for Armi. Tim Armi for the Mariners. Check to the ice by Zemchenko. Malkov missed the pass intended for Stepanichev. Bolduc back inside the Mariners' blue line grabs it. Sends it off a Soviet stick. Dufur tips it into the offensive zone. Zemchenko forced back to play in front of the goal line, so no icing call. Mariners change it up on the fly. Sokol Kiev comes to center ice. Pyotr Malkov sends it off the skates of Dietrich, wide of Friesen's net. He stops with the stick, leaves it for Gordy Mark.
Mark back behind the cage, chased by Malkov now. Fanned on the first pass attempt. Got it away to Evtushevsky, but he can't clear the zone. They tried to slip it in front to Davidov. Nicely blocked by Mark Dietrich behind the Mariners' net. Sends it off the right wing boards and all the way to the Soviet blue line. Nikolai Ladigan chased back by Alan Stewart. Stewart bothers Ladigan as he's bumped by Trotche. He got the pass away on the near wing to Gorbushin. Right wing, tipped back to the blue line beautifully. Yuldashev took it from Kulikov. Centering pass blocked for the back-checking Alan Stewart. Ramil Yuldashev near corner. Tried to throw it in front. Dietrich blocked. Sergei Davidov with it. Turns to the forehand. A lone shot. Save Friesen. Knocks it up on top of the net and gloves it. 10:09 left to play in the second. 4-1, Mariners with a lead.
I'll tell you, Davidov in point blank on the goaltender. You'll watch him now. Here he comes. Number 21. He picks up the loose puck. Now he makes a move. Fakes, goes to the backhand, turns, puts it on the forehand. Now gets the shot, and look at what Friesen does with it. It pops off his stick, up in the air, whacks it with the stick, reaches up, and gloves it. That'll put an end to that. Carl Friesen coming up big one more time for the Mariners.
Boy, has he had himself a night tonight.
He has, and we have 10 minutes and 9 seconds remaining to play as Tom McPhee talks to the Mariners on the bench. 10:09 remaining to play, second period, 4-1. Mariners with the lead. The only goal here in the second period, Luke Dюфур of the Mariners from Tim Armi and Kevin Maxwell. Maxwell a goal and an assist tonight.
He's also playing his 5th game of the week in his 4th in 4 nights. Bruce Driver, defensive zone for Maine. Right wing Черномаз, checked by Gorbushin. Mariners able to get it out as Driver banged it loose. Nikolai Ladigan near wing. Throws cross ice on the left side, looking for Davidov. Puck tipped wide of the Mariners' net. Uli Himmer back to play. Drives at left wing Conakер. Ties up Ladigan. Puck into the slot. Driver's the man who blocks it. Comes to center ice, but it's deflected up into the Mariners' owner's box. Almost never seen it go up there. 9:48 left to play here in the second. 4-1 Mariners with the lead. Faceoff's going to be called right at center ice. And we're going to have a penalty call here. Pat Conacher's going to get the game. We'll have the Soviet power play when we return. This is Maine Mariners hockey.
You see one apiece, so it will not be the power play. Ladigan and Conakер draw high sticking, matching minors here, so they'll go 4 aside, and let's see what these Soviets can do 4 aside here. They'll fly.
They like that open ice. Gorbushin breaks in on the near wing. Driver kind of knocked him off balance a little bit. Puck rolls weakly to the cage. Friesen gloves it. Gorbushin came into the slot. Driver picked him up, and then they both tapped each other on the pads. Haven't seen too much extracurricular activity tonight. About the only one would be Uli Himmer's cross-checking penalty as Nikolai Ladigan takes a look from the penalty box. This has been a clean contest throughout.
Done some good hard body checks, but good clean checks.
Zemchenko sends it behind the Mariners' net. Uli Himmer now for Maine. Backhand flip up the right wing. Floyd just missed grabbing it. Sidorov has to race back into the defensive zone for the Soviet Union to grab it. Valery Sidorov behind his own cage. Pass left wing. Nikolai Narimanov moves to the Mariners' blue line. Tried to come in. Driver knocked it loose neatly. Larry Floyd circles back to his own blue line to get control. Floyd for Maine. As Narimanov is dumped by Himmer, Driver comes in and offside's called. Pass was just behind Driver a little bit, Frank, and I think he missed a chance to keep it in with the skate.
Yeah, he tried to make the play with the skate behind and, of course, put himself offside. So the Mariners looking to say, hey, we can skate a little bit 4-on-4 also, as we again get a look at a part of just about a full house here at the Civic Center tonight. I tell you, you looked out the window at 9 o'clock this morning, you wouldn't figure this, but how these people have turned out.
Trotche and Brickley up front now for the Mariners. Golubovich has Yuldashev up front with him. Palmer gets control of the main blue line for Bolduc. Back to Palmer. Still in the defensive zone. Cross ice quickly to Bolduc. Michel Bolduc tried to drive it out. Had it blocked. Gets it back a second time. Brickley deflects to the Soviet blue line. Trotche bears in. Shot blocked beautifully by Oleg Vasyunin over the glass and into the seats. I think Trotche hesitated just a second before getting it free, and Vasyunin blocked it.
That's it. He won't do that again. Vasyunin, I'll tell you, that was quickness. Number 6 back on it very, very quickly. And Trotche has it deflected and sent upstairs as a souvenir. The Mariners will get a draw on the offensive end. Vasyunin, 27-year-old defenseman. He's 5'9", 167.
Organist playing the theme from Fiddler on the Roof. Sounds sort of appropriate, I thought. Center ice Palmer for Maine gains. Gives to Trotche. Checked at the center circle. Golubovich tipped it back to Yuldashev into the defensive zone. Shiryayev for Zemchenko. Alexander Zemchenko out to center ice. Yuldashev tipped with the skate wide of the Mariners' net. They wave off the icing call, though. Bolduc behind the net for Rob Palmer, far corner. He's bumped by Yuldashev, fights free behind the cage for Bolduc. Michel Bolduc for the Mariners, turns back behind the net. Stops and sets it up. Golubovich camped in front. Brickley comes back out to help out. Bolduc comes out the right corner to Palmer. Rob Palmer just tips it away length of the ice. Brickley races but won't get to it first. Shiryaev is back there first, gives to Menchenkov. Brickley blocked far corner. Trottier tips it loose to Brickley. Checked, gets it free to Palmer. Rob Palmer, top of the far circle, in shot, glove save, Shundrov, and he held on to that one as Trottier was trying to screen him in front but couldn't. 7:59 left to play in the second. 4-1 Maine. We'll be back with more in a moment. Draw to the left of Yuri Shundrov. Team still 4-on-4 for another 12 seconds. Teixeira tried the back draw. Gordy Mark had to go to center ice to get it for the Mariners. Banks it off the board. Stolen by Gorbushin. Vladimir Yelovikov back inside the Mariners line. What a shift. Shot, save, Friesen. Puck behind the net. Tried to flip it in front. Dietrich blocked. Team's back at full strength. Dietrich, right wing board Stefanski. Just throws it cross ice to the neutral zone. Conakry checked at the red line. Couldn't get to it. Back in on the near wing. Yelovikov. Gorbushin shot. Tipped. Friesen. Another big stop. Puck banged away to the far point. Nikolai Ladigan shoots it wide. Near corner, Teixeira for Maine. Up the left wing boards, Conakry able to work it free to the Soviet blue line. Back to retrieve, Andrei Ovchinnikov. Gives to Nikolai Ladigan. Ladigan back inside the Sokol Kiev blue line. Up the left side, bumped by Stefanski, runs into the linesman. Stefanski pushes the linesman. Jim Tortorella out of the way, puck pinned to the boards. They'll get the whistle and stoppage of play there. 7:09 left to play second period. 4-1 Mariners with the lead. Linesmen aren't exempt from taking body checks tonight, I guess.
No, nobody's safe out there tonight. I'll tell you, Vladimir Yelovikov has the only goal for the Russians. He's the youngest member of the squad number 13, and he had two more excellent opportunities here. Carl Friesen coming up big one more time, one on a tip as we get a look at the brain trust for the Soviets.
Very nice people, I might add. They've been here for a couple of days and have just been terrific to deal with. Bruce Driver for Tim Armi, broken up at center ice. Malkov gets it free on the near wing. Shiryaev inside the Mariners blue line, checked by Driver. Dюфур defensive zone for Maine. Luke Dюфур up the near wing, tipped it out to center ice for Armi. Ahead to Maxwell, has a man breaking right wing. Himmer couldn't get it to him. Pass deflected, Maxwell cross ice for Himmer at the point, just able to keep it in at the line, but it'll be grabbed there by Vasyunin, and he'll come out to center ice for Stepanischev. That's a two-line pass against the Soviet Union. International rules, though, I'm not sure if the red line exists. The Soviets are questioning the call. 6:37 left to play in the second. 4-1 Mariners with the lead in this one.
Boy, I'll tell you, Kevin Maxwell got the bell rung that time as the Soviets take the body pretty good. They're not afraid to bang you on the boards and pin you along the boards and things that a few years ago were not part of their game, but they certainly are now.
This is not a big team, but they're wiry, and we understand that they're very strong, but physically they're not big giants. They don't have very many people above 5'10 or 5'11. They don't have a 6-footer on the club. Out to center ice, Menchenkov hauled down by Timmy Armi. He's going to pick up the penalty call there. Sure looked like he had the arm around Menchenkov. That's the way referee Bob Hall saw it. Sokol Kiev power play when we return in just a moment. Mariners in front by a 4-1 count.
Well, we get a look at Timmy Armi. And Timmy will look from there, the penalty box, for the next couple of minutes. At least he hopes it runs a couple of minutes as the Russians for the third time are on the power play.
Soviet Union gains the draw. Menchenkov defensive zone. Alexander Menchenkov nearly gave it up. Conakry tried to tip it free near wing and gets it. Conakry looking for the pass to Floyd, couldn't get it loose to him as he's wrapped up by Sidorov near corner. Conakry goes down, Menchenkov pulls it loose. Sokol Kiev breaks to center ice. Long lead pass intended for Davidov. Kulikov, what a nifty play. Saw that Davidov was offsides and flipped it back outside the line. Floyd steals it center ice, drives it to the net. Boy, Shundrov seemed to fight that one too as he knocked it down. Yuri Shundrov behind the net. Puck tipped free by Floyd, but Yuldashev gets it back. Ramil Yuldashev for Sokol Kiev with Floyd right on him. Yuldashev comes near wing, just got it over the stick of Teixeira. Alexander Kulikov inside the Mariners blue line. Drop pass at the line, tipped free by the diving Larry Floyd. Boy, he's had himself a night tonight. Teixeira missed the steal on the left wing. Ladigan knocked it loose. Palmer tips it in, but the Mariners offsides. Delayed call on. Soviets will continue to play as they have control, and out to center ice, Menchenkov. Bothered by Stefanski, stolen by Teixeira, just missed, sending Stefanski in on the far side. Far corner, checked by Menchenkov, hauled down. Behind the net, Vladimir Golubovich. Golubovich up the right side. Yevgeny Shastin to the Mariners' blue line. Comes in, nearly got clocked by his own man, and the Mariners slip it loose the other way, length of the ice. Yuri Shundrov quickly clears it ahead. Golubovich on the right side. Sergei Gorbushin inside the Mariners' blue line. Gets the drive that Dietrich blocks wide near corner. Gorbushin avoids the Dietrich check. Tried to flip it in front. Blocked by Gordy Mark and covered up by Carl Friesen. 4:50 left to play second period. 4-1 Mariners with a lead. 23 seconds left in Tim Army's penalty time.
Well, the Mariners to this point skating well again in a shorthanded situation. Sokol Kiev 0 for 2 on the power play to this point. The Mariners leading at 4-1. We have 4:50 remaining to play in the second period.
Mariners have really given the fans something to see tonight thus far. Soviets gain. Sergei Gorbushin from the point. Shot tipped. Save Friesen. What a tip in front by Golubovich. Side of the far circle. Shastin broken up. Dietrich backhand blocked. Kept in Golubovich side of the circle. Back to the blue line for Gorbushin. Near wing Ladigan drives it over the shoulder of the netminder. Nearly hit Yevgeny Shastin in the face with that shot. He'll get another try at it and drives. Friesen glove save and he holds on. And Shastin is yelling at Ladigan.
Don't blame him.
He was yelling at him because the puck went by his ear. 4:28 left to play in the second.
All right, there is the second one. That's a little different. As you see, Gordy Mark took Shastin out of the play there, and there was no screen, and Friesen had a good look at that one from the point. But the first one, you're right, almost hit Shastin.
And he's still giving it to Ladigan on the bench. He came all the way to the bench yelling at him. Lighten up, Nikolai.
Yeah, but Nikolai says, I'm not setting any more screens for you, friend.
Soviets gain. Quick shot, Shiryaev wide. Out of the penalty box, Tim Army. Mariners have killed off another one. Pat Conakher out to center ice. Checked by Alexei Kuznetsov. Larry Floyd sweeps it inside the Sokol Kiev blue line. Back to play off Chinnikov. Got it free to Yelovikov. Vladimir Yelovikov. Shiryaev breaks to center ice. Nifty skating inside the Mariners blue line. Got the pass to the left circle. Back checking Черномаз, ties up Kuznetsov, pass to the corner Yelovikov. Stopped, spun around, downed by Himmer. Himmer knocks it loose behind the cage. It rolls to the near corner. Kuznetsov there first, hit hard by a Черномаз check and dump. In the skates of Черномаз lies the puck. He tries to work it free. Shiryaev is there to check. Черномаз has a pair of Soviets on him. Backhand flip to the slot. Friesen will glove it, knock it down. Himmer comes near wing to Черномаз. Takes the pick from Conakher, tipped to the line but not out. Yelovikov got it free on the near wing and Pat Conakher bangs it loose. Puck back to the Sokol Kiev blue line. Oleg Vasyunin back to play. Vasyunin, bothered by Черномаз, goes deeper into his own zone and eventually behind the cage where he sets it up. Pass to center ice. Malkov tipped. Conakher steals. Pat Conakher checked at center circle by Malkov. Puck grabbed by Stepanichev. Anatoly Stepanichev goes back inside his own line to Valery Sidorov. Sidorov, cross ice. Oleg Vasyunin chased near corner by Stewart. Moves behind the net now to the far corner. Vasyunin hits him. Черномаз with a big check. Outside the line, Stewart for Maine. Trying to lead Trotche breaking in. Blocked by Fyodor Malkov. Left wing Stepanichev. Check. Malkov bears. Sides called against Sokol Kiev. 57 left to play second period. 4-1 Mariners with the lead.
Good, hard body checking, and we've seen plenty of it here through 2 periods of this one. 2:57 remaining to play in this second period. 4-1, only one score here in the second period. The Mariners loop Dюфур. That coming early in the period. 3:24 of the period from Tim Army and Kevin Maxwell.
Soviet Union gains. Fyodor Malkov tipped it back inside his own line, but missed Valery Sidorov with the pass. Sidorov back for Malkov. Still in the defensive zone. Nifty shift around Trotche. Breaks through center ice. Malkov lost control, but now moves inside the Mariners blue line. Evtushevsky rattles him with a check. Puck to the line. Sidorov couldn't keep it in. Tipped it loose. Alexander Manchenkov chased by Stewart back inside his own line. Manchenkov drops it. Dangerously at the line, Zemchenko's the man who grabs it. Sergei Zemchenko. Pass near circle. Stepanichev back in front. Malkov tied up by Evtushevsky and dumped. Shot it wide of the cage. Stewart behind the net tied up. Trotche tips it free and Evtushevsky comes outside the line. Sidorov knocks it loose from him. Skates inside the Sokol Kiev blue line. Gives to Stepanichev on the left wing. Anatoly Stepanichev comes breaking to center ice. Gets by Luke Dюфур just off the bench. Stepanichev tripped up by Dюфур. Nothing called. Dюфур jumps over him. Stepanichev gets all over referee Bob Hall. I don't know if Hall understood what he said, but I don't think he liked it. Side of the far circle. Dюфур dumped in turn by Stepanichev. Stepanichev sends it into the slot. Bolduc blocks, banks it off the near wing boards to the line. Kept in neatly by Ladigan. Got it away side of the near circle. Bolduc's second effort. Turns and lobs it out length of the ice. It'll roll on net. No icing called. Shundrov. Far circle gives to Menchenkov. Zemchenko missed Davidov with a pass. Kulikov gets it free on the near wing. Lodigan dumped by Kevin Maxwell. Flipped it in front alone. Düfur misfired. He was alone in front of the cage and misfired. Shot it wide. Tim Armi shot. Shundrav made the save. He was set up by Düfur that time. Ramil Yuldashev for Sokol Kiev out to center ice. Sergei Davidov to the Mariners' blue line, bears in. Stops side of the far circle, tips it back to the line for Lodigan. Flipped in front of the cage, Yuldashev backhand blocked, rebound, Davidov drove it wide. Side of the near circle, Don Dietrich turns and lobs it out length of the ice to relieve the pressure. Foot race on, Maxwell goes back, Lodigan touches up, no, Maxwell got it, no icing called. Shundrav roams from the net, Maxwell takes him down. Shundrav races back into the cage, Sokol Kiev back to get the puck. Less than a minute to play in the period. Davidov to center ice. Sergei Davidov stops, has 4 players join him, now comes back into the offensive zone. Turns side of the far circle. Dietrich checks. Maxwell tries to knock it loose but can't. Tim Armi bangs to the line but not out. Andy Brickley missed the block. Gorbushin throws it in front. Gordy Mark throws a check. Friesen covers it up and holds on. 29 seconds left to play in the second. 4-1 Mariners with the lead. We'll be back with more in a moment. Face off to the right of Carl Friesen. 29 seconds left to play second period. 4-1 Mariners with the lead. Shot by Shiryayev, stopped by Friesen. Uli Himmer gets it on the near wing. Out to center ice, just missed sending Tajura away. Nikolai Narimanov back inside the Soviet blue line. Pass left wing, Vladimir Golubovich. Fights his way across the red line. Near wing Narimanov bears in. Brickley hits him. Stefanski rattles him though. Uli Himmer far corner gets the puck. 8 seconds left. Long pass to center ice. Ooh, Stefanski just missed breaking away. Shiryayev knocked it loose. 1 second left. That's the horn, the end of the second period. An appreciative crowd at the Civic Center applauds. 4-1 Mariners with the lead. Only goal of the second period, Luke Düfur picking it up at 3:24. 4-1 Mariners with the advantage. When we return, Frank Vixeris will talk with Maine Mariners captain Steve Tajura. We'll be back with intermission activities.
Shundrav to start the third period.
Mariners up 4-1 at the end of 2. Andy Brickley tried the long lead pass to Tajura, blocked by Malkov. Back inside the Mariners blue line, Bolduc grabs it. Pursued by Zemchenko behind the cage, gives to Palmer near wing. Rob Palmer sends to center ice. Sergei Davidov knocked it down, tried to lead Gorbushin into the zone. Brickley slows up Malkov's side of the far circle. Bolduc tipped it loose. Tajura knocks it behind the cage. Centering pass blocked. Zemchenko sends to the far corner. Steve Tajura for the Mariners. Throws it in front of the net to Palmer. Rob Palmer banks it off the near wing boards. Gorbushin able to keep it in, got it behind the net to the far corner. Michel Bolduc drives it free on the left wing. Tajura comes to center ice, leaves it for Brickley. Brickley for Stefanski. Bears into the offensive zone. Brickley trying to chase. Stefanski had it roll off his stick to the near corner. Stepanychev. Mariners get it again. Driver shot tipped by Tajura. I think Vasilev got the stick on that one and stopped it. Lodigan gets it away to Stepanychev. Cross ice pass blocked by Brickley. Tajura trapped offsides as he grabbed it at the line. 19 minutes left to play in the third. 4-1 Mariners with the lead.
Well, Vasilev sees the Mariners very quickly as we see him clean the crease a little bit and rough things up. We're 1 minute into this third period, but Stevie Tajura on the tip. I don't know if he turned it wide or it was a little bit wide, but Vasilev having to react pretty quickly. His first look at the Mariners in their offensive end.
Mariners gain the draw. Driver clears it around behind the Soviet net. Uli Himmer pinches in on the near wing. Tried to kick to Черномаз, had it blocked. Soviets Kulikov tried to clear the zone, overskated it. Vasyunin back to play. Oleg Vasyunin to the far corner, turns away from Черномаз, back behind the net, near wing, Sergei Davidov. Knocks it behind the cage to the far corner. Conakher there first. Clears it behind the net for Черномаз, near corner. Черномaz centering pass, tipped by Floyd, save Vasilev. Behind the net, checked Kulikov. Puck slid away to the near wing. Davidov for the Soviets gets it. Sergei Davidov lost control, but it's grabbed there by Shiryayev. Moves to the Mariners blue line, bumped hard by Himmer, got it free. Kulikov cuts in. Floyd blocks the shot behind the net. Puck rolls to the near corner. Uli Himmer backhand to the blue line. Vasyunin couldn't keep it in. Черномаз wrapped up by Vasyunin, got it outside the line. Soviets dump it back in, but Driver's got control. Bruce Driver takes the pick from Pat Conakher, makes the pass to Черномаз at the Mariners line. Moves away from Yevgeny Shastin, sends it into the offensive zone. Mariners make the change on the fly. Düfur, Armi, and Maxwell up front. Golubovich into the Mariners zone for Shastin. Shot, score!
Golubovich sets it up with a pretty cross pass. He catches Shastin, and Shastin goes short side with Carl Friesen trying to slide to that left post. So Shastin makes it a 2-goal advantage for the Mariners. There's Golubovich, and watch him go to Shastin, and Shastin into the short side. And the Russians now get to within a couple at 4-2. Another look at it here. Shastin, short side, beats the stick of Carl Friesen.
Play on Mariners' defensive zone. Don Dietrich back to get it. Trickles it out to center ice. Valery Sidorov back inside the Soviet blue line. Chased by Dюфур in front of the net. Falls down. Grabs the puck with a glove. Holds on to it. Bob Hall doesn't call the penalty. International rules must be a lot different over here in North America.
You would say so.
Sidorov just reached out, grabbed the puck, and held onto it. As Tom McVie, pensive behind the Mariners bench right now.
Well, the Russians needed that one and needed it as they got it quickly to start this third period to get back into this one now. Now we'll see what happens. 17:32 remaining. They score 2:10 into the period. Shastin making it 4-2.
Mariners gain the draw. Maxwell leads for Dietrich. Backhand in front. Dюфур trying to get the shot blocked by Golubovich. Tipped behind the cage. Maxwell grabs for Maine. Centering pass hit the back of the net as he's checked. Golubovich back to get it. Right wing Nikolai Narimanov. Tipped to the line. Dюфур keeps it in. Tried to slide in front to Armi. Sidorov back checking. Grabbed it. Gives to Shastin near wing. Shastin had it blocked by Armi. Side of the cage. Tipped away by Vasilev. Menchenkov playing without the helmet. Got it free to the far wing. Golubovich throws to the near point. Maxwell intercepts. Tips it away from Menchenkov. Armi side of the near circle. Tried to go behind the net. Golubovich blocks. Slides it away to the far circle. Narimanov got it outside the line. Shastin falls down. Gets control. Comes inside the Mariners blue line. He was back on his feet faster than he went down. Dumps it away to the near corner as Gordy Mark checked him. Puck rattled to the far wing. Narimanov missed it. Rolls to center ice. The Sokol Kiev captain, Sergei Gorbushin, gives it back to Yevgeny Shastin. Shastin dumped by Don Dietrich. Evtushevsky got it outside the line. Narimanov, checked by Trotche, drops to the Sokol Kiev blue line for Nikolai Ladigan. Ladigan back behind the Sokol Kiev cage, sets it up with Trotche camped in front. Right wing boards, Alexei Kuznetsov fights free from an Alan Stewart check. Vladimir Yelovikov, drop pass looking for Kuznetsov. Evtushevsky blocks, clears behind the cage. Nobody can find the puck. Now they slide it around to the left wing. Stewart can't clear the zone. Ladigan pinched in from the point to keep it in. A pile of players converge, and Bolduc just threw Kuznetsov down. Evtushevsky tips to center ice as he takes the bump to the boards from Gorbushin. Yelovikov missed Kuznetsov. Bolduc for the Mariners comes up and into the offensive zone. Drop pass Alan Stewart, ran into the linesman. Puck rolls free side of the far circle. Stewart's the man who's got it side of the circle. Looks behind the net for Trotche. Rocky Trotche drops it deep. Evtushevsky for the Mariners. Checked backboards by Gorbushin for Trotche. Shot. Short side wide. Goaltender Vasiliev may have got a piece of it. Stewart far corner for the Mariners. Tips it behind the net for Evtushevsky. Checked to the boards by Ladigan. Puck pinned in the skates. Trotche tried to dig it free. Gorbushin gave him a pretty good shot. They push and shove. Players converge. They'll get the whistle in stoppage of play. 15:26 left to play third period. 4-2. Mariners with the advantage.
Gorbushin with words there for Trottier, and then a tap of the pass for Greg Evtushevsky. So the Russians have gotten one quickly to start this third period. They're announcing the attendance, I think, Dale, and it is a big one. 6,916 on hand here tonight.
There are other games going on around the American Hockey League tonight, but somehow they pale in comparison to this one. Sergei Zemchenko trying to get by Uli Himmer. Centering pass blocked beautifully by Himmer. Fyodor Malkov sent it behind the net. Himmer grabs it. Uli Himmer comes near wing for the Mariners. Turns away from Malkov. Checked, dumped. Puck underneath them. Himmer trying to fight free. And Stepanichev leveled Floyd with a check. Behind the main net, Bruce Driver. Left wing Archie Henderson tips to center ice. Oleg Vasyunin gets it. We get the whistle, stoppage of play, and a penalty call to Stepanichev. He threw the cross check, I think, into Larry Floyd, and the Mariners are going to get a power play try. Anatoly Stepanichev will go off. Only the third minor penalty called against the Soviet Union, and only the second Mariners power play try of the night. Stepanichev will go off. We'll have the Mariners power play when we return. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Well, Stepanichev off on the cross check, and the Mariners now with an opportunity on the power play. Only their second power play opportunity.
Soviets gain the draw. Menchenkov in front of the Mariners bench. Comes into the Mariners defensive zone. Drop pass. Shastin shot blocked over the glass and into the seats. It was either Floyd or Stefanski that got the stick on it. I think Larry Floyd's the man who blocked. Shastin had a pretty good short-handed bid there.
Boy, I'll tell you, somebody got to tell Sokol Kiev that they're short-handed out there. Mariners are on the power play. This is the way they acted when the Mariners were on their first power play. They're very, very aggressive.
Golubovich sends the face-off side of the near circle. Shastin tips it back to the line. Stefanski knocked it loose, but not out. Zemchenko comes in. Dropped by Драйвер. From the ice, tried to get the shot, but couldn't. Драйвер for the Mariners. Long cross-ice pass. Brickley out to center ice now for Maine. Sends it into the offensive zone near corner. Tejura there first. Hit hard by Shastin. Puck loose. Golubovich comes near corner. Checked by Stefanski. Falls down. Brickley digs it free to the blue line for Larry Floyd. Floyd, cross ice, Bruce Драйвер, top of the circle, into the slot. Andy Brickley walks in, shot, save, Vasilev. Far corner, Tejura for the Mariners, tips it deep for Stefanski, lets it roll behind the net, looking for Brickley, knocked free to the near wing. Floyd keeps it in at the blue line. Side of the near circle, Steve Tejura has Stefanski in front, centering pass, Stefanski missed it. He got checked behind the cage. Brickley takes it from Драйвер. Brickley tries to throw in front. Stefanski shot, Vasilev holds on. Sidorov had wrapped up Stefanski in front of the cage pretty effectively. 14:03 left to play third period. 4-2, Mariners with the lead.
Well, this time the Mariners do get something going and throw it around pretty good on the power play. They'll continue. 1:02 remaining on penalty time to Stepanichev as we get a look at Vasilev, who has come on, as we say, as a replacement for goaltender Yuri Shindrov, who played the first 2 periods of this one and allowed the 4 Mariner goals. It is now 4-2 as Kevin Maxwell waits on the draw to the left of the goaltender.
Maxwell and Kulikov will take the draw. In the skates, nobody gets control. Now Conakер trying to dig it free, but it's Sergei Gorбушин who races behind the net with it. Горбушин, who can fly, comes to center ice. Lead pass. Kulikov just missed it. Rolls to the net. Friesen quickly bangs it away to Maxwell. Uli Himmer for Tim Armi. Little pass to center ice for Dietrich. 2-on-1 break with Conakер. Dietrich into the zone with Conaker. Centering pass. Conaker got it with the skate, but not with the stick. Side of the far circle. Armi checked to the boards. Kulikov pins him there. Mariners get the draw in the offensive zone. Pretty nice play between Dietrich and Conaker, but Conaker got the skate on it as it was behind him a little bit. Couldn't put the stick on the pass.
Pass just too far behind him to make the play with the stick, but he almost did make a play with that skate. Face-off comes near the top of the circle to the right of Vasilev. Mariners 36 seconds remaining on their power play. Kulikov will move in on the draw again with the Mariners' Larry Floyd.
Fans trying to get the wave going once again. And he's going pretty good in the first period. They took the second period off for a rest. Kulikov gains the draw behind the net. Gorбушин drives it to the near point. Uli Himmer, great play to keep it in. Ooh, just missed Maxwell with the pass in front. Maxwell takes the pick into the slot. Uli Himmer, near circle, centering pass, score! Conakер on the goal!
Well, I'll tell you, what a great pass from Uli Himmer. That Conaker had to just stand there, nick that thing, and direct it in behind the goaltender. Uli Himmer taking a pass here. Now we get the look at it. Here's Himmer. Look at him throw it through there, and look at Conaker just directed in past the goaltender. No chance for Vasilev as we'll take another look at it. There is Himmer, and it slides right through to Conaker, and just like that, the Mariners capitalize with a power play goal.
Maxwell gets the second assist on the goal by Conaker. Mariners in front by 3 once again at 5-2. Center ice, Luke Dюфур looking for Larry Floyd, broken up by Kuznetsov. Puck poked to the Sokol Kiev blue line. Ovchinnikov, right side, got it free. Shiryayev sends to the Mariners blue line. Dюфур for Maine grabs. Luke Dюфур looking for Черномаз, breaking on the left wing. Shiryayev slowed him up, and then he ran into the linesman, Brad Whedon. That really slowed him up. Floyd behind the Soviet net. Gets it free to Черномаз. Check to the back boards. Puck loose near corner. Vladimir Еловиков, right wing boards, gets the pass. Kuznetsov throws it cross ice. Черномаз steals. Dюфур misfired, shot it wide. He was alone in front. Floyd for Черномаз, shot blocked wide. Side of the far circle, Bolduc for Maine looks in front. Turns, checked by Kuznetsov. Tried to kick it loose, checked again. Ovchinnikov got it free. Out to center ice. Breaks Oleg Vasyunin. Vasyunin to the Mariners blue line. Bears in, centering pass blocked to the net. Friesen grabs it and holds on. 12:31 left to play in the third. 5-2, Mariners with the advantage. We'll have more in just a moment.
Since Dead River started selling high
Advantage face-off, though, on the Mariner end to the right of Carl Friesen.
Malkov and Stefanski on the draw. Puck in the skates. Fans have got the wave going again. Sergei Zemchenko near corner. Checked by Don Dietrich. Puck in the skates. Stefanski tried to dig it free. Checked by Malkov. He got it loose. Stepanichev tried to come into the slot. Broken up. Stefanski for Tejura. He's able to get it to the line and comes out. We got whistle and matching penalties. Sergei Zemchenko and Bud Stefanski will get penalty calls here. Gordy Mark stepped into Zemchenko quickly. Like they had the sticks going at each other pretty good. Zemchenko and Stefanski will both go off. Second time tonight we've had matching high sticking minors. For the most part, and again I'll stress for the most part, this has been a pretty clean, well-played hockey game. A couple of times when the sticks have gotten up or people have gotten a little upset. Not surprising in the case of Sokol Kiev. They're not used to losing these things, you know.
So it's matching minors, and that means 4 aside.
High sticking minors. Soviets come into the Mariners' defensive zone. Malkov, great pass to Stepanichev, robbed by Friesen, puck poked into the net. I think Dietrich knocked it into his own cage.
He might have. I think he was trying to tuck it into the pads of his goaltender. Now, Gordy Mark again has words. This time with Zemchenko, but we had a look at it there, and I can't tell, but it looked like Don Dietrich might have been trying to tuck it into the pads of his own goaltender and get a whistle.
Scored by number 11.
Stepanichev gets credit for the goal. Sidorov, the lone assist on Stepanishev's goal. Soviets send it back in. Remember, that goal scored team skating 4-on-4. Mariners tip it away to the Soviet blue line. Back to touch it up. We get whistle stoppage of play, and now I think Yevgeny Shastin's going to pick up a penalty call here. Looks like Uli Himer's also going to go off. Himer and Shastin pick up penalty calls, and I didn't see what that one was about at all.
Well, they're both going, Shastin and Himer. And we've got what? A minute 44 remaining on the matching minors.
Penalty on number 23, Yevgeny Shastin. Mariners penalty on number 3, Uli Himer. 2 minutes each for roughing.
Roughing minors called against Shastin and Himer.
Shastin and Himer. 2 minutes each for roughing at 8:01.
One of the younger Mariners fans in attendance tonight takes a look. Looks content sitting on Dad's lap. Shastin and Himer go off for roughing at 8:01 of the third.
There's a lot of open ice out there.
3-on-3 now. This would you would expect that this would benefit the Soviets with their skating abilities. Gorbushin, right side. Ladigan inside the Mariners' blue line. Drop pass Davidov. Back to Ladigan behind the cage. Checked by Palmer. Skates far corner. Turns away from Palmer. Tried to go to Davidov. Got the pass free. Davidov. Top of the far circle. Gorbushin. Trying to fight free from Conakер. Gave it back to Davidov. Mariners playing man-to-man defense right now and doing it well. Gorbushin tips it far circle. Nikolai Ladigan. Free to Davidov. Bolduc takes Davidov. Conakер picks him up on the pick. Davidov near point. Nikolai Ladigan back into the slot. Tip. Davidov misses. Puck rolls free. Bolduc for the Mariners grabs it. Maine breaks out 2-on-1 at the moment. Michel Bolduc and Pat Conakер into the offensive zone. Broken up by Gorbushin. It was tipped by Ladigan. Gorbushin knocked it free from Conaker. Sokol Kiev back out to center ice. Shiryayev comes off the bench along with Yuldashev. Soviets making changes, so the Mariners do as well. Floyd at center ice can't get it. Yuldashev inside the Mariners line. Shot save, Friesen, rebound tipped wide. Grabbed behind the net by Vasyunin. Oleg Vasyunin turns away from Dietrich. Got the pass to Yuldashev. Ramil Yuldashev, side of the far circle, slips it free. Shiryayev has it. Valery Shiryayev missed the pass intended for Vasyunin. Don Dietrich behind the Mariners net, tips to the near circle. Yuldashev grabs. Ramil Yuldashev looks in front, gets the drive. Friesen blocker save. Dietrich controls behind the Mariners net. Don Dietrich comes near corner, checked by Yuldashev. A couple of pretty good stick checks there by Yuldashev. Dietrich fights it to the line and out. Larry Floyd trying to get control, but Ramil Yuldashev takes it back. Far side, Oleg Vasyunin back inside the Mariners' blue line. Yuldashev heads for the front of the net. Vasyunin drops it away to Shiryayev. He gets the shot through the slot. One man back for each team. Team's now 4-on-4. Stefanski out of the penalty box, blocks to center ice. Larry Floyd breaks the other way with Dietrich, and Stefanski joins in. Dietrich into the offensive zone. Drop pass Larry Floyd, top of the circle, shot save. Rebound Stefanski, stopped by Vasiliev. Both teams back at full strength as Himmer comes out of the penalty box with Shastin. Puck wide of the main net, touched by Bolduc. Will get the icing call against the Soviets. 9:49 left to play in the third. 5-3, Mariners with the lead.
All right, we're set to go. Face-off will come in the Mariners' end to the right of Vasilev.
Tejura and Kulikov will take the draw. Tejura, the Mariners' captain, arguably the most popular player to ever wear a Mariners jersey. Mariners gained the draw. Bruce Driver tried to go cross ice to Himmer, had it blocked to center ice. Almost had to take a penalty call there to avoid a breakaway. Stefanski dumps it back in. Tejura missed the pass. Tejura checked by Menchenkov behind the Soviet net. Brickley comes in, kicks it loose near corner. Menchenkov ties up Tejura. He can't get free. Puck slipped loose. Stefanski sends it into the slot. Driver hustles in to get it. Shot tipped wide by Stefanski. Near corner, Alexander Menchenkov has Kuznetsov breaking to center ice. Throws to Sidorov, now to Kuznetsov. Broken up by Himmer. He sends it back to the Sokol Kiev blue line. Mariners in the midst of a line change. Kuznetsov back inside the Mariners line. Throws it to the net. Friesen calmly stops with the stick and covers it up with the glove and will take the draw. 9:09 left to play in the third. 5-3 Mariners with the lead.
Carl Friesen, I'll tell you, he's been tested tonight, but he has come up big for the Russians. Trailing by 3 to start this period. Cut the margin to 2. Again, Conacher's power play goal up to 3, but Stepanichev has come back, and it is now a 2-goal advantage again at 5-3, and we have 9 minutes and 9 seconds remaining to play here in the third period.
Tim Armi and Pyotr Malkov on the draw. Mariners get it. Düfur tips it neatly to center ice. Gets it. Has Maxwell breaking. Ooh, tried to get the pass through, but Gorbushin blocked it beautifully. Soviets back the other way. Pyotr Malkov up to the Mariners blue line comes in. Bears in on the near wing. Gets the shot. Friesen pad save. He'll cover it up again and hold on. Zemchenko ran into his own man Malkov in front, but they'll get the whistle in stoppage of play.
Well, I'll tell you, they can skate and stick handle in close quarters, but not a real tester for goaltender Carl Friesen that time. And again, the faceoff will come in the circle to his right.
40 shots on goal for the Soviets tonight. Malkov and Armi again set for the faceoff. Armi sends to the corner. Michel Bolduc, checked by Zemchenko. Puck in the skates. Bolduc knocked it free side of the near circle. Zemchenko for Malkov. Pyotr Malkov. Spun around by Armi, down. That could have been a penalty call, but wasn't. Bolduc blocks the centering pass from Stepanichev, clears to the line. Gorbushin flips it in front, gloved by Malkov. Made the little pass behind his back to the left wing, and Düfur tips to the line and out. Zemchenko fanned on a clearing attempt in. Gorbushin at the Soviet blue line gets it back. Zemchenko and Bolduc had the sticks going at each other. Gorbushin checked by Armi. Düfur steals, comes in front, shot save Vasilev. Puck far corner. Maxwell checks Gorbushin. Sokol Kiev gets the puck, drives it around to the near wing. Luke Düfur for Maine. Ties up Stepanichev. Puck grabbed by Nikolai Ladigan. Ladigan comes to center ice, gathers it in himself inside the Mariners blue line. Drop past Zemchenko. Throws it in front as Bolduc checks. Puck far corner. Gordy Mark tied up. Zemchenko drilled by Bolduc. Behind the main net, Tim Armi for the Mariners gets it. Whistle stoppage of play. Penalty calls coming up to Düfur and Stepanichev now. Again, things getting a little chippy in the third. 7:54 left to play third period. 5-3 Mariners with the lead. We'll have more in just a moment.
Well, again, it's matching minors. Stepanichev and Düfur, high-sticking minors, so they'll skate for a side again.
Soviets get control of the puck in their own zone. Vasyunin leaves it for Shastin. Yevgeny Shastin. Golubovich stolen. Conakер for Floyd. His drive is blocked by Golubovich off the near wing boards. Yevgeny Shastin gets it back. Shastin as Golubovich picks off Conakер, comes breaking through center ice inside the Mariners blue line, slips free. Himmer hauled him down. Penalty call coming up to Himmer. It's going to be Himmer's third minor penalty of the night. And Sokol Kiev's going to get another big power play opportunity. 7:31 left to play here in the third. That's plenty of time. And more importantly, perhaps it'll be a 4-on-3-man advantage.
Just an ideal situation for the Soviets as Himmer goes off for a hold. 12:29 of the period. So plenty of time remaining, and the team from Sokol Kiev now on the power play for the fourth time. They take advantage here. We've got a 1-goal game. Mariners leading at 5-3, 7:31 remaining, and a 4-on-3 power play for the Russians.
Golubovich will take the draw with Tejura. Tejura, perhaps the Mariners' best penalty killer. Out there now with a 4-on-3 situation. Gains the draw. Palmer behind the net sends to the near point, but Menchenkov is waiting for it. Alexander Menchenkov has a man in front of the net. Golubovich fakes the drive, comes near circle to Shastin. Yevgeny Shastin. Back to the blue line for Menchenkov. Menchenkov holds, shot wide. Puck bounds into the slot. Bolduc drives it length of the ice. Soviets go back to set it up once again. Sergei Gorbushin behind his own cage. Gorbushin turns away from Tejura's check, gives to Vladimir Golubovich. Golubovich back inside the Mariners' blue line for Yevgeny Shastin, checked by Tejura. Golubovich back to the blue line. Sergei Gorbushin, far circle, Menchenkov in front, backhand save, rebound loose, covered up. They get the whistle and stoppage of play. What a stop by Carl Friesen on Menchenkov out of the corner.
Well, he put the Zemchenko, put the backhander on him, and you saw Friesen take it right off the chest. Great play by goaltender Carl Friesen. Now watch the pass. They'll set it up in front and then get the backhander away. There it is. And look at that stop by Friesen. There it is. Puck pops in the air, almost batted out of the air and in behind Friesen. But the Mariners get the stoppage in play, and the power play will continue as we get another look at it. There's the backhander.
Took it in the mask as well, Frank.
Yeah, and almost had that thing tapped in. As standing on the doorstep was Shastin. But a great play by Carl Friesen, and he holds off Sokol Kiev again here on this power play. Face off again, though, in the Mariners' end to the left of Friesen.
Kulikov and Tejura on the draw. Tejura will come off for another penalty killer after he can gain this draw, but he doesn't get it. Vasyunin at the blue line. Far point, Shiryayev looks in front, fakes the drive, top of the near circle. Vasyunin loads it up, shot save, puck loose in front. Friesen's got it under the pads and holds on. As Palmer takes a man into the cage to keep things opened up in front. Kulikov, 6:36 left to play in the third. 5-3, Mariners with the lead.
42 seconds on the matching minors to Dюfuр and Stepanichev, and then there is 1:05 remaining on the penalties of the Mariners' Uli Himmer. So the team from Sokol Kiev will remain on the power play here. The Mariners trying to dodge a bullet here in the late going of this third period. Remember, international rules means no overtime, so this should end in a tie. That would be it.
Kulikov and Tejura again on the draw. Shiryayev, the lone man at the blue line for the Sokol Kiev club. Puck near corner. Vasyunin checked by Bolduc. Got it behind the net to Kulikov. Races behind the cage. Centering pass. Yuldashev missed it. Tejura sends it out length of the ice. Finally, he'll get to come to the bench and be replaced up front by Pat Conakер. Tejura, great penalty killing job. Takes a tap on the back from Stefanski as he comes to the bench. Ramil Yuldashev rolls through center ice for Sokol Kiev. Inside the Mariners' blue line, centering pass, tipped wide by Kulikov. Great tip. Conakер sends it out length of the ice for Maine. What a pass by Yuldashev, and what a tip just wide of the net by Kulikov. Gordy Mark and Don Dietrich back on defense now for Maine. Vasyunin, far side Yuldashev, had it roll up the stick blade, gets it back, gets by Dietrich, who falls down. Conakер gets it loose to the line. One man back for each team. Mariners clear it out length of the ice. Dюфур and Stepanichev out of the box. Dюfур forechecking right now. Vasyunin behind the net for Stepanichev. He just kicked it back and left it there for Vasyunin. Floyd tipped it free on the near wing. Out of the penalty box is Himmer. Mariners have killed it off again. Floyd forechecking near corner. Vasyunin tips to Andrei Ovchinnikov. Ovchinnikov cross ice. Valery Sidorov. Vladimir Еловиков drive off the blocker of Friesen up over the glass and into the seats. 5:24 left to play in the third. Mariners still with the lead at 2, 5-3.
We have 5:24 remaining to play here in this third period. 5-3, Mariners with the lead. Face off, though, in the Mariner end. Again to the right of Carl Friesen.
Soviets gain. Sidorov's shot blocked by Черномаз, kept in beautifully by Menchenkov. Side of the near circle. Larry Floyd tips it free. Черномaz taps it outside the line. Sidorov quickly right side off Ovchinnikov. Pass back to Kuznetsov. Bears inside the Mariners line to the far corner. Checked by Dietrich to the backboards. Gets the pass loose. Sidorov alone drives it over the shoulder of Friesen. Side of the near circle. Черномаз tried to tip it outside the line and got it out. Еловиков back to Sidorov at the Sokol Kiev blue line. Back on the near wing, Еловиков steps around a Черномаз check. Еловиков bears in near wing, centering pass tipped weakly by Kuznetsov. Blocked, and Larry Floyd clears it out length of the ice. Mariners will gladly take the icing call in return for a line change here. Clock stopped, 4:41 left to play third period, 5-3, Mariners with the lead.
Well, you can bet your life the Mariners now feeling that fatigue factor a little bit. 4 games and 4 nights, and this is the 4th one. They'll dump it out of there and relieve that pressure and take the icing call. 4:41 remaining as we check the Mariner bench out. Bruce Driver, as we mentioned before, from the Canadian Olympic team, and just recently joined the Mariners from the New Jersey Devils.
Malkov and Tejura on the draw. Mariners gain defensive zone. Driver behind the net takes it from Friesen. Left wing boards pass controlled by the skates of Andy Brickley. Brickley checked on the far wing, tried to clear. Malkoff, great play, keeps it in. Zemchenko drop pass. Nikolai Ladigan shot blocked by the diving Uli Himmer. Steve Tajura for Maine. Breaks to center ice for Brickley. Brickley couldn't control the pass. Soviets poke it back. Zemchenko throws it cross ice. Brickley taps it loose. Gorbushin at the Soviet blue line. Checked by Stefanski. Got it free to Malkov. Malkov loses his Brickley steals. He in turn had it stolen away. Stepanychev for Gorbushin. Breaks inside the Mariners line. Driver tips it free to the far wing. Brickley got it to the line, but not out. Malkov keeps it in. Ladigan gets it free to Malkov. Tajura blocks, can't clear. Himmer lost it in front. Zemchenko shot save. Rebound score. Gorbushin gets the goal for Sokol Kiev.
Zemchenko got a hold of his own rebound, and I think tipped it to Gorbushin, who knocked it home. We'll get another look at it. Number 5, Gorbushin, will get the score. The Soviet captain. Now Zemchenko coming in here, gets the shot. I think gets a stick on his own rebound and sets up. There it is, Gorbushin, and there it is, the goal. It bangs off that post and in behind, and we get another look. It is set up here by Zemchenko to Gorbushin, and the Russians are within 1 now at 5-4.
Stepanychev picks up the second assist. Mariners in front by a single goal. Puck in front of the Mariners bench. Rob Palmer drives it into the offensive zone for Maine. Vasiliev stops side of the net. Oleg Vasyunin back to play. Tipped behind the cage by Conakер. He's held near wing. Couldn't get free to get the pass. Nikolai Narimanov checked by Conakер behind the net. Conakер fights it free to the far corner. Checked by Shiryayev. Chernamaz got it loose but ran into Golubovich. Golubovich tips it free. Chernamaz back to the blue line. Gives to Dietrich. He gets the drive that's blocked all the way to the Mariners' defensive zone. Foot race on. Shastin's going to win. Yevgeny Shastin drop pass. Narimanov throws it in front. Shot over the cage by Vasyunin. He was alone in front. Tried to get it free to Narimanov far wing. Floyd checks Vasyunin far corner. Golubovich pokes it back to the line for Sidorov. Side of the far circle. Vasyunin missed it. Floyd again clears it outside the line as Sidorov missed the pass. Conakер dumped him in turn. Vasiliev pokes it free on the right wing. Golubovich goes cross ice to Yevgeny Shastin. Shastin falls down, just slipped it away from Trotche. Tipped it inside the Mariners' blue line. Himmer back to get it. Bangs it outside the line. Ooh, what a check Düfuor took as he got rattled by Valery Sidorov. Soviets, Nikolai Narimanov at his own blue line. Turns away from the Düfuor stick check. Narimanov inside the Mariners' line. Had it swept free and offsides called against Sokol Kiev. 2:35 left to play third period. 5-4 Mariners with the lead. Düfuor being tended on the Mariners bench by trainer Ray Jones. Michel Bolduc,
yeah.
Pretty sad when I know the Soviet players before I know the Mariner players, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you, Gorbushin has put a little tension into this one. People move a little forward in the seats now. It's at 5-4 with 2:35 remaining to play here.
Trotche gains the draw outside his own line. Bruce Driver sends it length of the ice into the offensive zone. Vasiliev stops. Menchenkov back to play. Alexander Menchenkov from behind his own net. Pass on the right wing. Stepanychev, or that's Sidorov, broken up by Düfuor, chased back behind the cage. Valery Sidorov steps free on the near wing. Takes the pick, gets to center ice. Davidov stood up at the Mariners line. Mariners dump it right back out. Maxwell sent that one away. Menchenkov had it deflected by Trotche to the Soviet line. Sidorov with it again. Valery Sidorov inside the Mariners' blue line. Near point, Davidov bears in. Great shift around Düfuor. Drop pass in the slot. Menchenkov. Sidorov stopped by Friesen, and he holds on. Mariners get the draw in the defensive zone. 1:55 left in the third. Now we've got players gathering in front of the cage. Menchenkov and Maxwell were pushing and shoving with each other. Menchenkov falls against the back of the net. Bruce Driver has Sidorov wrapped up in front. Bob Hall is going to call some penalties here. Maxwell's going to go off. I think Menchenkov is going to get some time. We've got 1:55 left to play in the third period. 5-4 Mariners with a lead. Menchenkov and Maxwell both go to the penalty boxes. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
All right, matching minors, roughing minors. Menchenkov is off, so is Kevin Maxwell. 4-on-4, 1:55 remaining. Mariners a one-goal lead at 5-4.
And stealing, Еловиков bears in, shot it wide on the backhand. Far circle, Conakер tried to get it loose, checked by Ladigan. Puck-free Driver for the Mariners controls. Cross ice, Uli Himmer. Himmer out to center ice, flips it length of the ice into the offensive zone. Back to play Nikolai Ladigan. Lodigan still inside his own line, got the pass free to Gorbushин, the man who got them to within a goal. Leads Yelovikov in. Yelovikov for Kuznetsov. Checked far corner by Floyd. Tried to make the pass, but fans. Second effort, gets it into the slot and shoots it wide of Friesen's cage. Near circle, Floyd for Maine, tips it outside the blue line. A minute 18 left to play in the third. Yelovikov gives it up to Kuznetsov. Back to Yelovikov at the Sokol Kiev blue line. Soviet Union changing it up. Stepanichev at his own line. Hit by Steve Tajura. Gets to Sergei Zemchenko. Stefanski steals. Breakaway bid. Stefanski stopped by Vasiliev. We've got exactly a minute left to play in the third. Mariners up by 1. Long lead pass missed by Stepanichev. Wide of the Mariners net. Palmer races back. Touches up, and we get the icing call against Sokol Kiev. 51 seconds left to play in the third. 5-4, Mariners with the lead.
What a great finish coming up to this one, and Bud Stefanski almost iced this thing as he got the breakaway, put it low, and tried to go through the pads. But Vasiliev comes up big there, and he holds it to a 1-goal advantage. The Mariners leading by 1, 5-4. Faceoff will come in the Russian end to the right of Vasiliev. Matching minors being served by Kevin Maxwell and Menchikov. They have 57 seconds remaining on those minors, so they're not involved in this one.
Vasiliev came over, talked to the coaching staff, and particularly head coach Anatoly Bogdanov for a moment. Discussed when he would try to come to the bench for the extra attacker. Zemchenko and Tajura, a pair of 10s on the faceoff. Mariners offensive zone, Soviets gain. Shiryaev behind the Sokol Kiev net. Right wing board, Stepanichev breaks to center ice. Fights free from the check, got it to the Mariners line. Palmer tipped it free far wing, and Bolduc tips it out to the Soviet blue line. Racing back to get it. Oleg Vasyunin cross ice, Sergei Zemchenko. Zemchenko checked by Tajura, puck loose. Stepanichev gets control, tips it away from Stefanski. Zemchenko still inside the Soviet blue line. Tajura tipped it free. Looks in front, Tajura behind the net. Penalty call coming up to Shiryaev. He dumped Stefanski in front of the net. He'll get the interference minor. 21 seconds left to play third period. Mariners will close out this game on the power play. Tajura went behind the net. Stefanski headed for the front of the cage. You'll see it here.
Here it is. Look at Tajura. Make this stick check. Grab the puck. Now Stefanski heads for the front of the net, and down he goes. And there's the penalty on Shiryaev. As some great forechecking by little Steve Tajura and Bud Stefanski. And Shiryaev is off on the tripping minor here with 21 seconds remaining.
Face off top of the circle to the left of Alexander Vasiliev, who's come on and played very well here in the third period for Sokol Kiev. Floyd sends the puck behind the Soviet net. Gorbushin back to play. Soviets with a 4-on-3 man disadvantage right now. Gorbushin side of the near circle. Drives to the line and out. 10 seconds left. Pat Conakер for the Mariners. Dumps it right back into the offensive zone. 6 seconds. The crowd ticks it down. The Maine Mariners are going to defeat the Soviet Union. This the horn, the end of the hockey game. Listen to this crowd. A standing ovation as the Maine Mariners upend Sokol Kiev from the Soviet Union. Mariners coach Tom McVie sprints out onto the ice. He grabs his goaltender. The fans, one of them with an American flag behind the main bench. And McVie may be more excited than his team as he's out there shaking hands, and the traditional handshake at center ice between these two clubs. Third largest crowd in Maine Mariners history. Frank, they saw a whale of a hockey game here tonight.
What a finish. What a great, great finish. And there you see the exchange. For the Mariners going down the line, Alan Stewart and Don Dietrich. And for the team from Sokol Kiev, of course, they wind things up here. As I'll tell you, there's a happy coach, Tom McVie. He wanted this one badly tonight. Sokol Kiev had won 8 straight games on this North American tour. They dropped their only game on the tour, their final night on this tour. But what an exciting finish this one held, as the Mariners just came out flying in this one. The Mariners now playing, as we say, their 4th game in 4 nights. Carl Friesen, just an incredible performance in goal tonight. And the Mariners win this one